What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 3DF. Chapter 61 Tell a joke, Luo Ling is messing around. Student Wu Quan, many opponents in this competition are very optimistic about you. What do you want to say about this? Do you think this is a continuation of the old enemies of the Wu family and the Luo family? I heard that Luo Ling took a trip to Baodao the day before the final. It was rumored that he was on vacation. It was speculated that he might think this battle was hopeless. What do you think about this? The competition is about to start, can you tell me about your acceptance speech? Before the game started, a large group of people, reporter, surrounded Wu Quan, hoping to get some explosive news from him. But compared to Wu Quan, Luo Ling's side is much quieter. Aling, don't be too sad, it's because they have no vision. When you defeat Wu Quan, there will definitely be many reporters around. Beside Luo Ling, only a Stephanie's son-in-law accompanied him. Everyone in the outside world thinks that after Luo Ling stacked countless buffs. Playing before the game, a tribute is closed, 3 cubs. No matter how you look at it, Luo Ling has no chance of winning. Some people even speculated that Luo Ling went to Treasure Island because he felt that he was doomed, so he simply played badly and beat him casually. Anyway, the second place result is not bad, although there is no way to enter the 4 holy places, but at least 3 high-level secret treasures bike voucher can be obtained. As a result, some people have already begun to sigh with emotion. Look at Luo Ling, the god of lottery. If he was assigned to another group, he might not be able to beat Ling Shui. For these rumors, Luo Ling's attitude is, ah yes, what you said is right, absolutely right, you all know the king. The Lighthouse Nation should hire you to be the leader of the Pokémon Alliance. Luo Ling has always been too lazy to pay attention to keyboard warriors like this. Anyway, it won't take long to see the outcome, why bother to fight for this moment? But at this moment, Wu Quan shifted his gaze and landed on Luo Ling. Actually, I watched every match of Luo Ling's. His strength is not bad. It's really hard to say who will win. However, I will try my best to win and try to bring a wonderful match with Luo Ling. As for the classmate Luo Ling you said went to Baodao for vacation. I guess it's for some secret special training. He doesn't seem like someone who will show off. There is also the hatred of the fathers that you mentioned. In fact, our older generation doesn't have so much hatred. I also ask friends from the media not to speculate. Although Wu Quan didn't know how to ridicule other people's Jiangji character, but surrounded by so many media, he felt a little smug. Champagne is opened at the classic halftime. I'm fine. Having said that, why do you drag me out when you play, and you drag me out when I play? Luo Ling blinked at Ling Shui, and asked a serious question. It's not for you to support the scene. Look at that group of reporters. A group of people may not necessarily have a meeting with me alone. Ling Shui raised her head and looked proudly at a large group of reporters over there. You are all on the wrong team, you will regret it later. Since she was a child, she has noticed that Luo Ling is extraordinarily hardworking. In her eyes, Luo Ling has already become synonymous with invincibility. Attribute restraint, Luo Ling will definitely be able to overcome it easily, give me a hard hit in the face. Seeing the pride on Ling Shui's face, Luo Ling stretched out his hand. Ling Shui panicked from the bottom of her heart. This is not going to pinch me again. Alas, I was wrong. However, the imagined pain did not come, she only felt a cool, soft and comfortable feeling on her forehead. Thank you. After speaking, Luo Ling walked up to the battlefield and stood opposite Wu Quan. At this time, Wu Quan was obviously a little flustered, as if he had already won the victory. However, as a child of a family, he still maintained due courtesy. Good afternoon, Luo Ling, it's a great honor to meet you in this game. Luo Ling also nodded towards him. Although he didn't need to curry favor with anyone, he wouldn't reach out to hit the smiling face. I've been looking forward to this game for a long time. Let's end the enmity between my parents today. Good guy. As expected, this man was still brooding over his father's loss to Luo Ling's father. Alright, Luo Ling sighed, then took out his Pokeball. Come on, great blacksmith, it's up to you. Wu Quan threw the Pokemon forcefully, and the Ultra Ball drew a beautiful arc in the air. With a flash of red light, the pink and cute Pokemon reappeared. But then, it's not cute. It held the sledgehammer on its back in a taunt motion. If it hits a person, it feels like a physical two-way foil. Wu Quan reached out to catch the bouncing Pokeball firmly, and his eyes were on Luo Ling. From the perspective of attribute, Doran Messiah with the additional attribute of Ghost is the best choice. Combined with Doran's penetration ability, substitute won't work. However, Luo Ling made an unexpected decision. Axew. Axew jumped off Luo Ling's shoulders, facing the great pressure from the great blacksmith, without any fear. Today, Axew, will definitely kill the great blacksmith. Chapter 62 Opening of the Finals, the battle between the dragon and demon families. Axew. It's really an unexpected choice, which is completely different from the predictions of several academic masters. As we all know, Axew's ability is an exception, and it is almost equal to the whiteboard ability when facing the great blacksmith. And the pure dragon type was completely sealed by the giant blacksmith of the steel demon attribute. To be honest, I'm not optimistic about Luo Ling's choice. It seems that the recent rumors that Luo Ling is bad are not unreasonable. In the commentary seat, sat two battle academic authorities. Their analysis of the game is much better than that of Yu Dagong, who was doing nothing. But, no matter how you look at it, Axu is a counterintuitive choice. At this time, in the VIP seats, several elites who were present started chatting on Twitter with the owner of the National Gymnasium. Old Luo, your son is too playful, Axu in such a game. No matter how you look at it, Doran Messia is the best choice, right? Yeah, this is not to show off your black Axu, is it? I don't think it is necessary, the future is the most important thing. I said that the child's growth must be grasped, let it go like this, and do it casually in the game, and it will be your face in the end. On the side, many bigwigs preached to Luo Hongji earnestly. But he just gave them a blank look. Yes, he also seems to be a bit of a maverick when it comes to teaching children. He is not like other Dragon Kingdom-style parents. After the child is born, at what age does he start contacting Pokémon? At what age does he start entering the secret realm for the first time? What to get in his teens? Where to go for adventures? Everything is arranged perfectly. Instead, he chose to let Luo Ling go his own way. At best, he acted as a person who stabilized the bicycle for Luo Ling on the road ahead. Duolong Bart, who had been Luo Ling's bodyguard all year round, poked his head out, glanced at Luo Hongji, and then at the bosses beside him. They talked too much, belittling the young master so much, I really want to teach them a lesson. However, Luo Hongji patted Duolong Bartuo's head lightly to comfort him. Okay, time will tell everything. I believe that Ah Ling's path is far better than what I prepared for him. Let's watch the game. Duolong Bartuo nodded, and then turned his attention to the field. Looking at the giant blacksmith in front of him, Luo Ling immediately opened the data eye and confirmed its data. Great blacksmith female sign, fairy, steel. Open black lens bracket level. 41 close black lens bracket. Character. Afraid of loneliness. Open black lens bracket ability. Go its own way, this Pokémon will not fall into chaos contest condition, close black lens bracket. Individual values. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 24, physical defense 31, special defense 20, speed 22. Skills. Giant Hammer, Fairy Wind, Astonish, Baby Doll Eyes, Rock Smash, Slam. Qualification. Quasi-Championship. Good Guy, Quasi-Champion level qualifications, and the strength has reached the elementary level of the elite level. This size is also good. This F***C King Krypton's resources are probably not less than his own, and it is estimated that the Wu family has also invested a lot of money. Axu's level is currently only 37, but he is much better than the Great Blacksmith in terms of effort. On the other side, Wu Quan, seeing Luo Ling's selection, was startled for a moment, and then asked in confirmation. Axu, are you serious? Certainly. Do you think I'm going to be joking at a game like this? Hearing this, Wu Quan also nodded slightly. If you beat a Luo Ling who is not serious, winning is meaningless. Next is the final of the National High School League, where Luo Ling from Hangzhou No. 1 Middle School will face Wu Quan from Kyoto No. 1 Middle School. This game is 2-on-2. Pokémon cannot be exchanged in the middle, and you can carry items. The two Pokémon on either side of the two sides cannot fight, and the other side wins. Contestants on both sides, please get ready, the game, let's start. After seeing the Pokémon released from both sides, the referee on the side raised the red flag in his hand and waved it down forcefully. Although in the hearts of many people, this game has been concluded. But this also represents the battle between the dragon and the demon, and the Lu and Wu families officially opened Veilstone. Come on Great Blacksmith, first give up the Great Hammer and use Fake Out. As soon as he came up, Wu Quan decisively preempted the strike. The giant blacksmith threw the giant hammer to the ground, and the villain rushed directly to Axu. Good guy, can you still play like this? In the previous matches, Wu Quan had never used this kind of routine. Sure enough, even against Ling Shui before, this guy kept his hand. However, Luo Ling also has countermeasures. Fake Out must be preemptive in the game, but the game is not completely linked to reality. As long as it is handled reasonably, there is a good chance to escape. Chapter 63I, Axu, specialize in making powder and cutting black. Axu, use dig. Even Axu was taken aback for a moment when he saw the great blacksmith who dropped his hammer and came. It has not seen such operation. Otherwise, how is it called? Surprise attack. Originally, the speed of the giant blacksmith was not lower than that of Axu, but this sudden action made Axu even more frightened. But the next second, it looked at the great blacksmith sprinting towards him, smiling, as if looking forward to Axu's expression when he was slapped. There is a saying called, powder cut black. There is another saying, if you have nothing to do, don't put on a face of evil forces to provoke Zhang Erlong. At this moment, a certain instinct engraved in Axu's blood seemed to activate normal. A touch of saffron appeared in the red eyes, and the pupils of the eyes changed from cute baby doll eyes to fierce dragon eyes. Axu, you can do it. You can do it. You are a hero and you can't just give up. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. He won't have time. At this moment, time seemed to stand still. Normal, Axu kept hinting to himself from the bottom of his heart, so that he could brave the ground to face the giant blacksmith who came by surprise. And the moment before the great blacksmith's slap was about to hit Axu. It did. With both hands down, he dug hard, and then made a diving posture and dived directly under the ground. The giant blacksmith who had rushed in front of Axu originally swung his palms into the air, and was stunned for a moment. Okay, there are Pokémon. Dodged his own fake-out shot. It shouldn't be. Not to mention that the fairy system is suppressing the natural blood of the dragon system. Even if it is pure speed species strength, it is impossible for Axu to be faster than himself. What's more, this surprise attack should be very successful. Axu obviously didn't react at the first moment. Why? But, compared to the somewhat bewildered great blacksmith, Wu Quan, who was standing opposite Luo Ling, noticed a clue. Those golden dragon eyes, and the dragon breath that suddenly soared just now. The power of the dragon. How old are you, and you awakened the power of the dragon so early? A flash of surprise flashed in Wu Quan's eyes, but not much. There were indeed rumors before that Luo Ling seemed to have awakened the power of the dragon in the intramural competition, but at that time Wu Quan was too far away, so he didn't pay much attention to it. After all, this is unreasonable. It has never been heard that a dragon trainer who has not even reached the year of weak crown can awaken the power of dragon control. But now, the facts are clearly in front of him. If you don't want to believe it, you have to believe it. It's okay, I just woke up a month ago. But it's not so much the help of dragon power, it's better to say it's its own efforts. I just used the power of Yulong to help it get rid of the cowering contest condition faster. But as long as it has the slightest fear in its heart at that time, this fake-out should be unavoidable. Luo Ling's dragon aura blooming from his whole body was blowing the hem of his clothes, making his clothes flutter in the wind, making him look very stylish. Okay, but it's just a Diglett call. Great blacksmith, use the giant hammer. Wu Quan looked at Axu who had disappeared from the field, and immediately gave the next command. Dig, then just smash all the holes for you, and see where you can hide. As soon as the giant blacksmith stretched out his hand, the huge hammer seemed to hear its echo, normal, and flew towards its hand out of thin air. Thor, the god of thunder, probably has to call an expert after reading it. Before Luo Ling thought about whether he should take this opportunity to grab its hammer, but after thinking about it, he decided to forget it. The hammer is part of it, and it doesn't make much sense to steal it, and our little baby Axu can't swing a hammer that big. Instead of intentionally opening a loophole, it is better to wait for the other party to make a move first. Wu Quan is also a real person, and he directly sent his big move. Thanks to the old iron for the big hammer. The giant blacksmith grabbed the flying hammer, raised his hands, and slammed it at Axu's position. Axu, end the dig contest condition. Seeing this, Luo Ling immediately yelled at Axu. After all, Axu only has the first stage. If he was hit head-on by this blow, Axu would be hit directly into the ground. Great blacksmith, change direction and use the great hammer on Axu. Wu Quan also directed. The giant blacksmith whose speed is not inferior to Axu heard the sound, stepped on his foot suddenly, and immediately aimed at Axu who jumped out of the ground. The giant blacksmith jumped forward and came in front of Axu at an extremely fast speed. Even though the giant hammer has no direct attribute restraint on Axu. But the power of this skill is still comparable even among all the steel moves. This scene made the spectators sigh. Last time Axu used dig to avoid the attack of the giant blacksmith. This time in the air, Axu simply had no room to dodge. Tooth. In the air, Axu looked at the great blacksmith rushing towards him, a look of astonishment flashed in his eyes. It was a touch of fear. The great blacksmith's fairy type always shows absolute restraint on the dragon Pokémon, awakening the fearful nature restrained by attribute in Axu's heart. Axu, use the dragon tail, and send the giant hammer flying back. Luo Ling shouted from below, instantly filling Axu with confidence. The resonance brought by the power of the dragon made Axu, who was terrified, suddenly come back to his senses. It concentrates its power on the tail. Although Dragon's Tail has an almost absolute post-production ability in the game, it is not so absolute in reality. Of course, there is no side effect of forcing the other party to exchange Pokémon. Boom. The Dragon Tail did counteract the power of a large number of hammers, and Axu staggered back a few steps before standing still. Use Dragon Tail to carry the great blacksmith's great hammer. The narrator was extremely excited, and even the audience was surprised. Under normal circumstances, Axu must be directly seconded. Now you can still stand and continue fighting, isn't this a proper master of attribute restraint? After reading it, Master G will call him an expert. Chapter 64 Evolution. Fracture. VIP table. Several elite-level bigwigs couldn't help but shine. What surprised them was that Luo Ling's judgment seemed to be better than expected. Being hit by the giant hammer is either dead or injured, Luo Ling can use protection to protect Axu, but the distance between the two Pokémon is still not widened, and it is still within the effective action range of the giant blacksmith. On the other hand, the use of Dragon Tail allows Axu to have enough time to respond to the next round of attacks after receiving this blow. Old Luo, your son's reflexes are pretty good. Defeating offense with offense, and using Dragon Tail against Great Blacksmith's hammer is a very clear idea. Those few old men who looked down on Luo Ling just now changed the subject. I am afraid that they are the only ones who can learn the difficult, face-changing skill. This is definitely a human Pokémon. Luo Hongji snorted coldly, with a difficult smile on the corner of his mouth. If it wasn't for basic politeness, Luo Hongji would be able to take care of these old fellows. On the one hand, he is good as a teacher, on the other hand, he is like a grass on the wall. On the stage, Axu, can you hold on? Tooth. Axu responded with a firm face. In order to reassure Luo Ling, he kept shaking his body. Until now, Axu still hasn't fallen. It raised its head vigorously, and its eyes were full of perseverance. But Wu Quan didn't intend to give Luo Ling a chance to breathe. Great Blacksmith, please make noise. The giant hammer is a move with great power and high damage. Too bad it can't be used twice in a row. But at this very moment, Axu seemed to have been injected into normal, his eyes were firm, and O3 stared at the blacksmith, observing his every move. Why is the dragon type unable to beat the fairy type 100%? In the process of any Pokémon growing up, it is not only the restraint of attribute, but also the cultivation of it by trainer. In the face of absolute strength, what is attribute suppression? Boom. A burst of arrogance suddenly enveloped Axu, and his stubbornness became a firm motivation instead. Even in the face of the Pokémon that restrained him, Axu would never back down and show his strength. Breaking the rules means breaking the rules. Axu frowned slightly, overcoming the fear in his heart, breaking the routine of being restrained and the fear in his blood. Facing the unscathed Great Blacksmith, he had to fight to the death. Tooth. At this moment, Axu's arrogance soared, and the crowd watching the battle was also shocked by the courage of this struggle. Many people shouted in the arena, and Bing Axu cheered. Even though no one thinks that Axu is the Great Blacksmith's rival, the result is not so important at this time. What is important is that Axu, as a restrained contest condition, can continue to show himself on stage. Such a spirit deserves to be recorded. Use Dragon Dance to dodge attacks. Tooth. Axu screamed to the sky, and under the effect of Dragon Dance, his movement speed has been improved. But even so, because of the difference in level and speed, facing the pursuit of the giant blacksmith, Axu tried his best to dodge, but in the end he couldn't dodge, and was hit in the back by the giant blacksmith. This blow caused Axu to retreat a long distance one after another, and fell to the ground. At this moment, it seemed very difficult to stand up. I advise you to give up. If the fight continues, Axu will definitely be seriously injured. You probably don't want anything wrong with your Pokémon from taking too much damage. Wu Quan, who was standing opposite, saw that Axu's contest condition was not quite right, so he tentatively asked Luo Ling. However, the latter did not directly talk to each other. Instead, he looked at Axu with a slightly worried expression, and said, "Can you still hold on?" As Wu Quan said, Luo Ling naturally does not want Axu to be harmed, but this battle does not belong to Luo Ling alone, it also belongs to Axu. Even if you want to withdraw from the battle, you must follow Axu's advice. When everyone saw that Axu was still showing firm eyes, knowing that Axu still wanted to continue fighting, they were also moved by Axu's persistence. Obviously, under such a situation of being completely restrained, he can still choose to persist in fighting. Such a spirit is rarely seen in Pokémon. This is enough to prove that Axu has a very high trust in Luo Ling, and is willing to work hard to win every battle for trainer. This is only when the trainer and Pokémon have a very high level of tacit understanding and trust, and the group will appear. Wu Quan sighed helplessly, would have liked to have Luo Ling drop himself out of the game, at least for a Pokémon. But Axu's performance speaks for itself, and it certainly won't just give up. And according to Luo Ling's personality, he would definitely follow Yaya's ideas. That being the case, there is no other way. This is always a competition, and it is still the final, which will determine the final fate of the various colleges. Wu Quan would not let the Great Blacksmith release water on Axu just because of his compassion. Having used the skill play rough just now, the Great Blacksmith can finally use such a powerful move as the Giant Hammer again. Final hit. Giant Hammer. Wu Quan gave an order, and the Great Blacksmith on the field concentrated all his strength on the hammer, and launched an attack on Axu again. But at this time, Axu has not been able to recover from the battle just now, but he can only try to get up with difficulty. But at this very moment, swish, Axu suddenly burst out with the shining light of Purify. I didn't expect Axu to evolve in battle. The first order Axu has evolved into the second order Fracture, and it will really usher in many stages of growth. Looking at the fact that this game is really changing, it's hard to say who will win or lose. The narrator was very excited. It is rare to see a Pokémon evolve in a battle. And whenever this kind of thing happened, it would usher in a drastic change to the entire duel. It is even very possible to be in a disadvantaged stage originally, but after evolution, it can still win. The people in the spectator seats also sighed. Many people believe that Axu's evolution this time is likely to bring about a qualitative change in the entire game. But some people think that evolution does not actually have much effect at this time, it just increases the time of lingering. After all, after Axu evolved, its own attribute has not been changed, and it is still a dragon. In the face of the giant blacksmith of the demon type, it will also be restrained by attribute. So evolution doesn't make much sense. The light of evolution successfully pushed back the attacking giant blacksmith, and also made Wu Quan frown slightly, becoming cautious. As the light of evolution fades away, Axu evolves into Fracture. Seeing this, Luo Ling opened the data eye and checked the evolved attribute of Axu. Open black lens bracket Fracture. Dragon black flash close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level 40 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Stubborn close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Breakthrough with the determination to break the rules, you can ignore the opponent's ability when attacking. Close black lens bracket. Second ability. Struggle heart with an extraordinary fighting spirit, the effect will be more significant when facing Pokémon of the same gender. Individual value. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31. Open black lens bracket skills. Bite, dragon claw, dig, dragon dance, slash, double slash, scary face, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Master level close black lens bracket. Hidden hint. Possesses a sense of justice that is almost paranoid, helps the needy, and although he is not strong, he will stand up for the weak. Close black lens bracket. Unexpectedly, due to emotional fluctuations, Axew evolved during the battle, and directly raised his level to level 40, which has reached the peak of professional level. Not only that, but even evolved a second ability fighting spirit. Wuquan's blacksmith and Axew are of the same gender, so the fighting spirit can play a role in improving the power of all Axew's moves, which greatly increases Axew's ability to damage the blacksmith. After the light of evolution dissipated, Wuquan felt bad when he looked at Fracture who had successfully evolved. He always felt that after evolution, Luo's Pokémon seemed to be more powerful than he imagined. Great blacksmith, don't stop attacking. Keep using the giant hammer. The giant blacksmith was still holding the hammer tightly, the attack just now was not over, and the action was interrupted. It cannot be concluded that the move of the giant hammer has been used. Thus, the great blacksmith once again evolved the Fracture. Axew. Not right. Fracture. Use protection first, block the giant hammer. Luo Ling has not recovered from the fact that Axew has evolved for a while. However, after Axew evolves into Fracture, its speed will be greatly improved. As in the previous situation, when facing the big move of the giant shield formation, even if you use protection, you can still deal with the next attack of the opponent. Moreover, the defensive ability of protection is much stronger than that of using Dragon Tail, and it can be successfully resisted. Tooth. Fracture issued 010 a firm roar, stood still and used protection, and head-to-head with the great blacksmith. When the two sides collided together, the air wave of the collision spread around, and even many viewers were implicated. Many people even covered their heads, which was enough to see how powerful this wave of tackle was. The giant blacksmith did not admit defeat, the giant hammer it used was the most powerful move in the steel system, so how could it be possible to give up lightly? The two Pokémon collided together, and seeing a few weak cracks gradually appear on the protective cover of Protect Fracture, everyone's hearts began to tangle together. Cracks appear on Fracture's shield. It's such a pity, even if it evolves, it's still a bit worse than the third stage giant blacksmith. Fracture should have lost, but it is also worthy of appreciation for being able to bring such a wonderful performance to everyone. The moment he saw the crack in the protective cover, the commentator seemed to have decided that Fracture would definitely lose the contest. But this is also normal. If even the powerful defensive move of protection cannot withstand the attack of the giant blacksmith, then Fracture will no longer have a stronger defensive move to use, and will eventually face defeat. Fracture. Hold on. Luo Ling yelled several times in succession, the noise was so loud that even the commentator who was explaining on the high platform could hear it without earphones. Only he knows that Axew has been with him for so long, and the sense of justice and desire to become stronger in his heart will never change. At the same time, under the blessing of the power of Yulong, Fracture was instantly full of strength. At this moment, the new ability, Struggle Heart, just obtained was successfully activated, facing the great blacksmith of the same gender, a kind of drive that would not admit defeat. Tooth. Axe Dragon Fang let out a roar, even though the shield had already cracked, but under the blessing of the new ability, its power was enhanced and its strength strengthened. The giant blacksmith also seemed to feel something strange, it noticed that the cracks in the protective cover that were gradually cracking suddenly stopped. Not only that, even the power of the giant hammer seems to be affected, not so strong anymore. After a while, Fracture moved forward a step with his whole body, and under the strong attack of the giant blacksmith, he used the protective shield form to push the opponent back. Chapter 65 Cheers, this is the real master of inverse attribute. Boom. There was an uproar at the scene. No one expected that Fracture could withstand the big blacksmith's big move. The unyielding drive shown by Fracture, and the spirit of continuing to fight despite difficulties, shocked the audience. Fracture. 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 The audience gave out strong shouts and applause. The entire venue of the game, at this moment, suddenly became Fracture's home field. At this moment, it is the protagonist. Even the commentator who believed that Fracture would lose before changed his position at this moment. While shouting along with the audience, he was so excited that he almost fell off his seat. Surrounded by many people at the scene, Fracture slowly raised his head, revealing an arrogance unique to dragons. Even in the face of the great blacksmith, he did not admit defeat in the slightest. The so-called fear before has long since disappeared without a trace. The corners of Fracture's mouth raised slightly, staring at the great blacksmith, as if sending a disdainful look to him. That's it. You want to defeat me with just one move of the giant hammer. Fracture displayed absolute confidence at the moment. What is the so-called Dragon Slayer? Also said that the fairy type completely seals the dragon type. This kind of thing doesn't exist in me at all. We don't believe in this evil. At the same time, Luo Ling seems to have reached a state of mutual understanding with Fu Longya. He can clearly feel that there is an emotion in his heart that wants to break the rules, and he is also very clear that this feeling does not come from his own heart. In an instant, I realized that this state of mind actually originated from Fracture. This made Luo Ling overjoyed. What is the best trainer? What is the best Pokémon for training? When Pokémon and trainer can reach the same mind, and can personally experience their emotions, this is the answer. Wu Quan was shocked. It is obvious that the Great Blacksmith completely restrains the opponent's Pokémon in terms of attributes, and has absolute suppression in terms of levels. Even if Axew has evolved into Fracture, it is just a drop in the bucket. According to common sense, the Great Blacksmith should have defeated Luo Ling's Pokémon long ago. Unexpectedly, the situation is exactly the opposite. Luo Ling's Fracture actually became more and more courageous as he fought, like an unbeatable Xiaoqiang, who had endured 2 big moves from the Great Blacksmith, but was still able to stand tall. In such a situation, it is inevitable that Wu Quan will respect Fracture. But even so, he still won't give up winning the game. Even though Luo Ling's Pokémon has evolved, it has long since suffered the power of the Giant Hammer twice. With just one more hit, the Great Blacksmith will be able to take Fracture away directly. Wu Quan knew very well that this match could not be dragged on any longer, otherwise he might change his mind. So, he yelled, "Great Blacksmith, disrupt rival with play rough." At the same time, Luo Ling also released the power of Yulong to the extreme, wrapped Fracture's whole body, and smiled on his mouth. "Fracture, let's end this game together. Axew." Fracture also felt Luo Ling's passionate emotions, and coupled with the ability of Struggle Heart, the audience was instantly incomparably high. The Great Blacksmith has activated Play Rough again. Facing the same attribute restraint, will Luo Ling use the same countermeasures as before? The narrator also became very excited at this moment. Facing the same move, Luo Ling's next judgment will become extremely critical. Everyone knew that even if he avoided the Great Blacksmith's Play Rough, Wuxi would definitely not use the Great Calendar Hammer next time. No matter what the situation is, facing the Dragon Pokémon, the most effective attack of the Giant Blacksmith is still the Giant Hammer. Watching the Great Blacksmith rush towards Fracture with the advantage of speed, Luo Ling made an unexpected operation. Fracture, quickly use the Dragon Star group. Boom. There was an uproar again. Everyone was shocked not only by Luo Ling's unexpected operation, but also couldn't figure out why Fracture would use the Dragon Star group move. In fact, there are many ways to learn moves. The easiest way is for Pokémon to watch videos and learn, or to ask for advice from seniors. This is also one of the shortcuts that ordinary people can take, allowing Pokémon to learn more powerful moves without any resources. However, Luo Ling is an ordinary person. Born into a dragon family, is it difficult for his Pokémon to learn powerful dragon moves? It doesn't even take a lot of resources. Just say a word to old father Luo Hongji, "Dad, let me borrow your Haxorus." That's all. Let Haxorus perform well in front of Fracture and teach the latter the move of Dragon Star Group. If the audience at the scene knew this, wouldn't it make them extremely envious? After all, this is the arrogance exclusive to the children of the aristocratic family. Ordinary people, how can it be possible to experience it? Although the move of Long Xingchun is very powerful, it can be regarded as the best among the moves of the dragon type. But after all, it is fairy type and dragon type moves that compete with each other, and Dragon Star Group is a special attack skill, and Tooth Piercer is one of the Pokémon that is least good at special attacks. Using the trick of the Dragon Star Group, the effect does not seem to be very good. Dragon Star Group. Why did you even use the Dragon Star Group? Fracture is a physical attacker, not to mention that dragon moves have no effect on fairy moves. What on earth is Luo Ling thinking? Could it be that he still has a backhand? The narrator expressed the confusion in the hearts of all the audience present. Even the bigwigs in the VIP seat couldn't help shaking their heads after seeing Luo Ling's decision. Old Luo, your son, this is too outrageous. That's right, it was a good decision for Dragon Tail to kill the giant hammer just now, but he doesn't think that dragon skills can last forever, does he? Using the Dragon Star Group directly on the body of the giant blacksmith will definitely not have any effect. It seems that the outcome of this battle has been decided. Facing the doubts of several old men, Luo Hongji was also speechless. Even though he believed in his son, it was indeed an unwise decision to resort to the Long Xingchun's move in the face of the great blacksmith. Luo Hongji knew that it was impossible for his son to be so reckless, and in the face of such an important battle, he would definitely not act recklessly. Perhaps, as the speaker said, Luo Ling definitely has another trick. It's just that for the audience at the scene, they were finally aroused by Fu Longya's tenacious character. They thought they could see a battle like a bamboo shoot, but they didn't expect Luo Ling to start messing around. This made the audience sigh. Luo Ling's way of fighting is really a pity for a rare Pokémon like Axe Dragon Tooth. The most surprised one was Wu Quan. Even if Axew has successfully evolved into Axe Dragon Fang, it is still at a disadvantage. At this critical moment, Wu Quan didn't think that Luo Ling would make such a mistake that even rookie wouldn't make in the battle. After all, Luo Ling is also a descendant of the dragon family, so he naturally has a very strong understanding of dragon Pokémon, which is beyond the reach of ordinary people. Therefore, Wu Quan inexplicably felt that Luo Ling must have held back his big move and hadn't used it yet. Only Ling Shui trusted and supported Luo Ling unconditionally from the beginning to the end. Because she knew very well that Lu Ling was not a person who would show off. The more critical the moment, the more Luo Ling can highlight the most correct judgment. Therefore, Ling Shui concluded that Luo Ling must have his own ideas, but he has not yet implemented them. I saw Fracture gathered the power of the dragon in his hands, and then threw it towards soaring in the sky. In an instant, this force formed countless comet groups in soaring in the sky, but because Fracture is not good at special attack moves, Draco Meteor looks slightly Arnold, giving people the feeling that the power seems to be weak many. Even so, the movements after the giant forging still did not stop. It swung its giant hammer and constantly harassed Fracture with play rough. Fracture, hurry up and use aerial ace to fly to the falling comet. As soon as Luo Ling finished speaking, Fracture jumped up, and a burst of air burst out of his body. Then it flew up into the air, landed on the Draco meteor that was landing, and half stayed in the air. This reminds many people of a very classic skill. Seismic toss. This kind of behavior can be regarded as a disguised form for Fracture to learn to fly. Maybe think so. However, if Jean Groudon saw this scene, he would be the first to jump out and reward Fracture with a precipice blades. Dare I ask, which Pokémon can't fly? Groudon hid in the corner and wept silently, trembling. The great blacksmith who was about to approach the Fracture was taken aback suddenly. He had never done such an operation before. A Pokémon who can't fly can actually use moves to simulate the effect of flying. Only then did everyone react. It turns out that the Dragon Star group is not used to attack at all, but to assist Fracture to fly into the soaring in the sky, and to open the same distance as the target. As long as the two sides maintain a safe distance, Fracture can continue to fight the war of attrition, constantly consuming the great blacksmith. This will also play a very important role in consumption when the next Pokémon appears. After all, according to the battle rules, once a Pokémon enters the field, it cannot be taken back until the end of the battle or the loss of combat ability. Only then did the audience realize that everyone had misunderstood Luo Ling just now. Moreover, as a Fracture, it was able to use aerial ace to successfully jump to the Dragon Star group, which surprised everyone. If it was another Pokémon with weaker qualifications, it would be impossible to do this step. This also shows in a disguised form that Luo Ling's Fracture is indeed not normal. As expected of being born into a dragon family, even cultivating dragon Pokémon is beyond the imagination of ordinary people. But what surprised everyone even more was still behind. Jumping onto the Dragon Star group is just the first step. Luo Ling's real purpose is to provide Fracture with a gravity acceleration at the moment when he soars into the air and then falls. In this way, when Fracture rushes to the ground, the power of the attack will become stronger under the acceleration of gravity. This is the moment. Use bulldoze. Luo Ling shouted, full of momentum, and gave Fracture plenty of confidence. Under the blessing of the power of the dragon, Fracture raised his head to the sky and screamed in midair. The moment his feet left the comet group, he rushed straight down towards the giant blacksmith on the ground. Even Wu Quan could feel the fighting spirit in Fracture's whole body. The great blacksmith on the ground was stunned. As a Pokémon who completely restrained the dragon type, he saw Fracture rushing towards him full of momentum. He was in a daze for a while. Who restrained whom? Question mark. Seeing this, Wu Quan quickly issued an order. Don't panic, use the giant hammer again at the flying Fracture. It's not that Wu Quan didn't know how to respond flexibly, that's why he kept using the giant hammer. It's because it is a big move of the steel system, coupled with its own attribute restraint, this is the biggest blow to Fracture. Wu Quan firmly believes that as long as the hammer in the district can hit Fracture again, it will definitely inflict heavy damage on the opponent. In this game, Veilstone will definitely fall as well. Boom. The moment when Fracture and Great Blacksmith collide. There was a loud noise and a large amount of powder scattered around. All audiences are looking forward to what will happen when the powder dissipates. Will Fracture be defeated, or did the giant blacksmith fall to the ground and lose his ability to fight? Obviously, the vast majority of viewers will choose the former. Still want to see if there is any reversal before all the dust settles. After a while, when the dust dispersed, the first scene that caught people's eyes was the broken traces on the ground. The audience couldn't help but sigh, is this NM really just a high school student level combat power? Such a great power is completely at the level of a professional league. Today's high school students are so powerful. Do not. It is the high school students of the family that can be so powerful. Dragon Star Group's damage was completely cancelled out, but Bulldoze's move actually fell on the giant blacksmith. Axe Dragon Fang, which fell back to the ground, wandered a few steps and sat down on the ground, but stood up forcefully. It is enough to see that in the blow just now, he was indeed seriously injured by the giant blacksmith. After all, attribute restrains this, and it cannot be avoided no matter what method is used. And the other side, the giant blacksmith also fell to the ground in a trance, but it failed to stand up again. Great Blacksmith, you can't fight. Fracture wins. Get Qian Zhao. When the referee yelled this, all the audience were surprised. It was the first time they saw that they could turn defeat into victory when attribute was restrained. The dragon type actually managed to reverse the fairy type. This is probably the most memorable scene in the history of the competition. In this battle, not only saw the evolution of Pokémon, but also saw the reverse attribute win in 3 sets. Either way, it's a rare scenario. Now, it happened to Luo Ling and Fracture at the same time, it's amazing. Fracture, Fracture, Fracture. Once again the audience cheers for Fracture. Fracture on the field was also encouraged by the audience, and kept turning in circles, looking at everyone in the audience. At this moment, this is exactly the scene it has been waiting for a long time. Being able to gain so much praise in the battle made Fracture's blood boil, and once again showed his arrogance as a dragon Pokémon. Luo Ling is also happy for Fracture. In the face of the restraint of attribute, he can still fight so hard, it is indeed the Pokémon I fancy. As the saying goes, several families are happy and others are sad. Wu Quan had no choice but to take back the great blacksmith, but also felt very emotional. The battle between Pokémon is not as simple as imagined. But even so, Wu Quan has no intention of surrendering. 2 Pokémon are allowed to be used in the whole battle, and there is still a chance. Wu Quan's second Pokémon is Sylveon Gong. Also being a fairy type, it not only has a very cute appearance, but also has strong strength, which can still completely restrain the dragon Pokémon. Now Axe Longya has only his last breath left. Send out Sylveon at this time, just in time to take this head. Go, Sylveon. While talking, he went back to the garden and took out a Pokeball in the air. In a flash of perfect magnitude, Sylveon emerged from the red light onto the stage of the competition. Chapter 66 Pokemon held on so as not to make you sad. Sylveon's cute image instantly won the love of many audiences when he appeared on the stage. As a fairy type, boarding at this moment also makes everyone feel that they can definitely successfully defeat Fracture, who has just experienced a fierce battle. Booyah! The moment Sylveon saw Fracture, he immediately gave a strong signal that he wanted to fight. At the same time, Luo Ling quickly checked the information of Sylveon. Open black lens bracket Sylveon. Fairy close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level. 40 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Tough close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Fairy skin, normal type skills become fairy type, and the power is improved. Close black lens bracket. Individual values. HP 29, physical attack 30, special attack 28, physical defense 29, special defense 28, speed 25. Open black lens bracket skills. Disarming voice, double edge, draining kiss, tackle, bite, quick attack, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Quasi-championship close black lens bracket. Good guy, this Sylveon is actually a quasi-champion Pokémon like the Great Blacksmith. Not only that, but even ability is the perfect dragon type. Wu Quan dispatched this Sylveon just to use it to win the final victory. Sylveon, use quick attack to get the upper hand. At the command, Sylveon swayed. Agility started in the next second, and the figure had disappeared, only images after moving appeared in sight. Sylveon doesn't have much speed, but Fracture has used Dragon Dance before, and the speed has been improved, and it has evolved. In the same battle, as long as the Pokémon is not temporarily retired in the middle of the battle, the effect of the skill used before can still be maintained. Even if something like evolution happens, it's still essentially the same Pokémon, so it doesn't matter at all. In the case that the speed advantage is not as disadvantaged as before, Fracture is still surrounded by Sylveon with quick attack and dare not move. Don't be afraid, just hit it with the Iron Head. Luo Ling's voice shocked the people watching the battle. Like Long Xingchun, the move of Iron Head should not be a move that Fracture at this stage can learn. Obviously, this must be thanks to Luo Ling's old father again. It must be another Luo Hongji's Pokémon, under Luo Ling's, soft grinding and hard foaming, gave Fracture a small treatment. This kind of thing is very normal in such a huge family. Not just the Luo family, but other families as well. Thinking of this, there was inevitably a lot of sighs from the 257 audience seats. The resources of these aristocratic families are really rich, and low-level Pokémon can learn high-level skills. This is Flash's Fracture, which is a low-level Pokémon. But Fracture at this stage can learn so many moves, I'm so envious. My Pokémon is also Fracture. It took me a year to learn Breaking Swipe. Why is there such a big difference? At this time, a spectator with the same Pokémon silently shed tears. Tukao returned to Tukao, the battle still has to continue to watch. The commentators were not surprised by Fracture's skills, but Luo Ling's strategy made them very puzzled. Good guy, Luo Ling is ready to face Quick Attack head-on. Quick Attack is a move of the normal type, but when Sylveon used this move just now, its body exuded a faint pink light, which is the unique ability Fairy Skin of Fairy-type Pokémon. With this ability, all normal-type moves will become Fairy-type. Is Luo Ling ready to continue fighting? Fairy-type Pokémon are relatively rare. So most people don't know much about this attribute's Pokémon ability. After an explanation by the narrator, many people suddenly realized. The audience was also very moved that Luo Ling had made such a bold move again. However, given what happened before, Yin Jia was very curious about what would happen next. With a flash of white light from the horns of Fracture's head and protruding teeth on either side of his mouth, Fracture charged directly at Sylveon. Boom. At the moment when the two Pokémon collided with each other, Quick Attack successfully hit Fracture, but at the same time Sylveon was successfully tackled by Fracture. It just made Wu Quan very surprised. After the last round of battle, Fracture was already in a dying contest condition, so why was he able to continue to maintain a high level of contest condition? Although Sylveon is not the main Pokémon cultivated by Wu Quan, but from the point of view of attribute, it is still a master of Pokémon. The power of Quick Attack may be relatively weak, but it has also been blessed by the Sylveon Fairy Skin ability, and its power has been improved. But even so, Fracture was able to catch the moves restrained by attribute again and again. I have to say that Luo Ling's Fracture, in addition to being a shiny Pokémon, is also surprisingly tough. Facing such an unkillable Pokémon, Wu Quan suddenly began to wonder if he was being suppressed by the level. But judging from the situation of the on-site battle, it doesn't look like that. It seems that I can only use that trick. Sylveon, use double edge. This is also a normal type skill, but it is indeed one of the most powerful in the normal type. During Sylveon's stockpile, the whole body emits a faint pink light again. Under the Fairy Skin's ability, Double Edge has become a fairy-type skill, and its power has been greatly improved. There it is, Sylveon's Double Edge. This move does a lot of damage to both the attacking Pokémon and the Pokémon being attacked. It seems that player Wuquan is ready to give it a go. How will Luo Ling respond? Is it still the same head-on as before? The situation at the scene can be described as full of people's voices, and this move of Double Edge can be said to injure the enemy 1000 and self-injure 800. Whenever this trick is used, basically one party will lose the ability to fight. Under normal circumstances, trainer will not use this trick easily. It was enough to see that Wuquan was also annoyed by Fracture's tenacity, and wanted to hit the opponent at once. His eyes became cold, and he activated his dragon power again. Fracture, the opponent's move is quite powerful, you have to be careful. Use reversal, and fight Sylveon to the death. Show your best strength. The current Fracture is really at the end of its strength. After suffering so many attribute-restrained attacks, the original contest condition is long gone. Facing an attack with such high damage like Double Edge, using reversal is the best choice. The worse the contest condition is, the more powerful the reversal will be. This move can be said to be the best choice for a comeback in a desperate situation. Compared with Fracture, Sylveon's speed is still higher. It is not easy to avoid the opponent's attack. Therefore, in this move, the two sides can only confront each other head-on. When Sylveon and Fracture collided with each other, the two powerful moves worked together, and did not produce a huge smoke effect like the previous battle with the giant shield. But Sylveon was directly knocked into the air several meters away. The power of Double Edge was completely neutralized by the equally powerful reversal. As a result, the damage Fracture suffered was not as high as imagined. In comparison, Sylveon's situation is much more serious. The move of Double Edge will also bring a lot of damage to itself. Sylveon's attack this time is completely thankless, and even caused a lot of damage to himself. It was originally full of contest conditions, but after this collision, its expression was instantly solemn. Booyah! Sylveon stood up from the ground with difficulty. It cannot be seen that its current contest condition is not very good. On the other hand, the situation of Fracture is not optimistic. After all, he has withstood so many fairy-type attacks, and now he can still stand up, which can be regarded as holding his last breath. But even so, Fracture still wants to win this time. Seeing that the Pokémon on the field were not in good condition, Wuquan was not in a hurry to issue the latest instructions to Sylveon. Add fee. Precisely because of this, it also gave Fracture more breathing opportunities. Fracture, can you hold on? Axew. Fracture responded in the affirmative. Even though the body was almost unable to hold on, it still endured the pain and continued to stand on the stage of the battle to face the powerful enemy. Fracture isn't Luo Ling's strongest Pokémon, but it's definitely one of the toughest. Even if he is seriously injured, he will continue to fight and never give up. Even with his last breath left, he still wants to win this competition for Luo Ling. Luo Ling can also feel Fracture's firm will, and he and Fracture have reached a state of mutual understanding. Very good, hold on. Give him the final blow. Inspired by Luo Ling and blessed by the power of Yulong, Fracture raised his head to the sky and roared, and burst out suddenly. And the other side, after Wuquan waited for Sylveon to gain a firm foothold, seeing Fracture being protected by the power of the dragon once again, he felt bad. Sylveon, don't let Fracture get close to you. Use echoed voice to consume the opponent from a long distance. Wuquan still has a certain understanding of Fracture. He knows that Fracture is very good at physical attacks, so as long as he consumes it from a distance, Sylveon can win. The most important thing is to keep a safe distance. Sylveon took a few steps back and used the Fairy Skin's ability to transform the normal type into a fairy type. Opening his mouth, he issued a sharp growl at Fracture. At this moment, the spectators who were closer to the competition stage couldn't help covering their ears. Only audiences who are a little farther away are not affected. Sylveon's echoed voice is a move that uses sound to attack. Hearing the sound it makes will give you a splitting headache. It is a good choice for remote consumption. Fracture's hands are relatively short, and he can only try his best to cover his ears to avoid being affected. However, voice-type attacks cannot be completely avoided by covering the ears. In the process of sound transmission, there are many factors that affect the transmission efficiency. Even if the ears are covered, the sound can enter Fracture's ears through bone conduction. But even so, Fracture still insisted on standing on the court, in order not to worry Luo Ling. In the original game, there is such a setting. When the favorability between trainer and Pokémon is getting higher and higher, there is a certain probability that your Pokémon is holding on so as not to make you sad, will happen. Isn't the current Fracture just such a contest condition? Although he has suffered so many serious injuries, he still chooses to continue fighting with his strong willpower. If this was changed to other Pokémon, I am afraid that it would have been unable to hold on and fell down. This inevitably made Luo Ling feel Fracture's trust in him. Fracture, please hold back. Quickly use Guardian. The moment Fracture received the order, it seemed that he had found the direction of normal, and roared very firmly at Sylveon. Immediately afterwards, a protective barrier wrapped Fracture's whole body, successfully resisting the effect of echoed voice. Even if it is a sonic attack, it is still ineffective as long as it is in front of the Guardian. It's just guarding this move, the effect will gradually decrease with the frequency of use in battle. So this doesn't mean Guardian is a move that can be perfectly defended. The current overall contest condition is still unfavorable for Axe Dragon Tooth. If Luo Ling wants to fulfill Axe Longya's wish to win for himself, he must find a way to get out of the predicament as soon as possible. Taking advantage of this moment, hurry up and focus on energy. Wu Quan was a little puzzled. According to what he knew about Fracture's moves, it was the best choice to use Dig to hide underground at this time. But Luo Ling did the opposite and asked Fracture to use Focus Energy. This is a move that can make the next attack more powerful and easier to hit rivals' vitals. Could it be that the opponent still wants to launch an attack directly next time? Click. With a sound similar to breaking glass, the protective shield guarding Fracture also cracked. Not only that, because it is not the first time Fracture has used the guarding technique, so the speed at which the protective cover ruptures this time is much faster than before. Even with the fighting spirit and the power of Yulong, there is no way to prevent the damage of the protective cover. Click. With the sound of the last crack, the protective cover was like shards of glass, normal was smacked down on the ground, and finally dissipated. At this time, Fracture has no guardian effect and continues to be affected by echoed voice. The final blow. Let the people present see your strength. With the iron head, it's a showdown. Sylveon was shocked. It never expected that Fracture, who had experienced the last round of battle, would be able to withstand the fairy-type attack and counterattack. What kind of willpower is this to be able to do this? And the opponent's trainer Luo Ling seemed to have expected all of this to happen, as if everything was sure to win. In the blink of an eye, Fracture was already facing the attack of echoed voice, the horns on the head and the teeth on both sides of the mouth exuded a white light, and rushed over. Wu Quan didn't expect Luo Ling to be able to use such a combo technique. Still in the case of letting Fracture withstand such a lot of pressure. With all these unexpected attacks, Wu Quan didn't have time to react at all. Naturally, Sylveon can only continue to use echoed voice, acting as the moment Fracture came to it. Bump. Fracture hit Sylveon on the head with Iron Head. At this moment, the echoed voice disappeared, and Sylveon also fainted on the ground because of the strong tackle, under the eyes of everyone. Chapter 67. A classic battle worth recording. Sylveon, no fighting. Fracture wins. I declare that the winner of this competition is Hangzhou No. 1 Middle School. When the referee announced the final result of the game, the audience woke up from the astonishment. Just now, it was the dragon type that defeated the fairy type. And twice in a row. This is really incredible. Luo Ling. Luo Ling. Fracture. Fracture. The strongest. Invincible. The audience was beyond excited. Just now, they witnessed an unprecedented Pokémon battle, and there is a high probability that it will be an unprecedented Pokémon battle. Level disadvantage. Attribute is completely overcome, each of which is extremely fatal to the battle. A dragon-type Axew defeated 2 fairy-type Pokémon in a row, and successfully evolved into a Fracture during the match. This is almost impossible, but it just happened to a high school student. Even if Luo Ling is not a high school student of normal, but a descendant of an aristocratic family, there are not many descendants of the aristocratic family who can achieve this step. It is enough to see that Luo Ling is different from those annoying children from aristocratic families who only know how to use their status but don't know how powerful they are. A child from an aristocratic family naturally worked so hard. How does this make ordinary people live? In this society, it's okay for ordinary people to die among themselves. Why do children from aristocratic families come to join in the fun? At this station, Luo Ling successfully used his strength to win the admiration of the audience, and at the same time maintained the victory and defeat between the Luo family and the Wu family. This made Wu Quan somewhat disappointed. He originally wanted to take advantage of this battle, because my Wu family was criticized and lost their dignity. I didn't expect to lose in the end. Still lost. Seeing the audience and commentator cheering for Luo Ling's victory, Wu Quan was very indignant and a little bit disappointed. Could it be that the Wu family is a family of the fairy family, and Ming Ke is a Luo family of the dragon family, but they have to bear the fact that they cannot beat each other? This matter, like a curse, pressed tightly on Wu Quan's body, making him almost out of breath. Luo Ling, although he is reluctant to admit it. You won, though. Today I am weak, but when we face off next time, I will defeat you. After finishing speaking, Wu Quan turned and left the competition stage. From the beginning to the end, he only came to the stage for the shame of the Yishui family. Now that he has lost, even though the Kyoto No. 1 Middle School where he is located still won the second place, he still has no face to continue. As for Luo Ling, there were so many people cheering for him at the scene, even a traveler who has seen a lot of worlds and was infected by the atmosphere of the scene would still feel his blood boil. In this Pokémon world, you don't fight alone, and Pokémon don't fight alone. It is the continuous cooperation and integration between the two, and the two sides become stronger and stronger together. The sense of accomplishment is self-evident. At this time, Fracture dragged his heavily injured body, and slowly turned to face Luo Ling, tremblingly wanting to return to Luo Ling's embrace. However, after going through the two fierce battles just now, it has long been exhausted. Tooth. After just 2 steps, Fracture could no longer hold on. Luo Ling hurried to Fracture, hugged it that was about to fall to the ground, and said in a very relieved and somewhat distressed tone. Fracture, thank you for your hard work. Just now you performed very well, you really deserve to be my partner. Tooth. Tooth. Nestled in Luo Ling's arms, Fracture yelled softly twice, as if to express that as long as he can help his master win the game, it is more important than anything else. Luo Ling also quickly took out an energy cube from his pocket and stuffed it into Fracture's mouth, and then sprayed some potion as an emergency treatment. Gradually, Fracture's injury got better, and his physical and mental strength recovered. In such a situation worthy of celebrate, how could Luo Ling only remember Fracture, so he released Dratini and Doran Messia from the Pokeball. For today's game, the friends are very clear. Dratini and Doran Messia did not play. But at the moment of appearance, Luo Ling said to the two cuties, "Your partner Axew successfully evolved into Fracture during the battle, and also won the game. Let's celebrate him together." While speaking, Luo Ling gently stroked the foreheads of the two Pokemon. For the two little ones, the Fracture in front of them might be a bit unfamiliar, but after they sniffed the scent of Fracture, I found that it was exactly the same as Axew, and I immediately became excited. The little ones are naturally very happy that their companions can become stronger. Proposal. Duolong Maya jumped up happily, wagging his tail constantly. Dratini even squinted his eyes with a smile, and even lifted Fracture up, sending out a cheerful growl. Yep, the Axew has gotten a lot heavier. Seeing that the three little ones were so happy, Lucerib laughed along with him. Dratini and Doran Messia don't care whether they play or not, as long as they can win, it is a thing worth celebrating. After putting Fracture down again, Doran Messia showed a senior-like expression of relief. Seeing that junior sister is so strong, Xiao Duolong doesn't have to participate in the introversion, and can continue to play badly. Everyone below is cheering, happy that Luo Ling and Hongzhou know. One middle school can win this competition. The VIP seats are also very lively. Congratulations, Lao Luo, I didn't expect your son to be so powerful. Being able to beat two fairy-type Pokemon back-to-back with a single dragon-type Pokemon is simply glorious. Today's game, I'm afraid it can be included in the history of the league's battle. Luo Ling has already mastered Pokemon Breeder so well at this age, he will definitely become the world's top trainer in the future. After today's game, there will be another Dragon Master in this world. Luo Ling's ability to have the strength he has today must have something to do with Lao Luo's usual teachings. Facing the compliments from many bigwigs, the person involved, Luo Hongji, didn't say a word, but silently raised the corners of his mouth to show his friendliness politely. But in his heart, he had already scolded these people in front of him. These old men were still saying that there was something wrong with my education method. Now that my son has won the championship, he starts flattering me again. This couldn't help but make Luo Hongji snort coldly. This group of immortals is really fickle. Their face-changing skills, I am afraid that even the inheritors of intangible cultural heritage will be amazed by the master. But no matter, Luo Ling was able to win the championship in the high school league this time. As a father, Luo Hongji still feels very happy, and it can be regarded as giving himself a face. Moreover, Luo Ling was able to defeat two fairy-type Pokemon with one dragon-type Pokemon. Such a move, even when he was young, he might not be able to do it. Today's face is bigger than Luo Hongji's when he won the championship. At the same time, it also made Luo Hongji feel that it was correct for him to firmly believe in his son's thoughts. If he had intervened too much in the beginning, Luo Ling might not be able to achieve such an achievement today. Because this high school league is broadcast live nationwide. Therefore, the news of Luo Ling winning the championship immediately detonated the entire Dragon Kingdom. The people watching the game think the same as the spectators at the scene. They never imagined that a dragon-type Pokemon could hold two fairy actors by force. In the case of attribute being perfectly restrained, it can still play such a wonderful performance. This inevitably gave everyone a new view on Luo Ling. And shouted, "Young people are awesome." According to Luo Ling's development speed, he will be at least an elite-level figure in the future. Ling Shuiyi, who had been watching the battle from the bottom of the stage, rushed up immediately after Luo Ling won, hugging Luo Ling tightly. "You were so good that you won the championship. Do you know, when I saw that Axew was about to fail, I was so worried. Then Fracture went on to fight Sylveon, do you know how worried I was?" While talking, Ling Shuiyi's excited words actually carried a faint cry. The more Luo Ling listened, the more something went wrong. Asked slightly jokingly, "So are you worried about me, or my Fracture?" "Of course caring about you and your Fracture. Otherwise what do you think? Anyway, I won in the end, I'm still happy for Fracture." While speaking, Ling Shuiyi leaned down and gently stroked Fracture who kept jumping on the ground. The latter is also very cooperative with Ling Shuiyi, Growl who has been beside her with joy. It's just that after watching this scene, Luo Ling was a little dumbfounded. "Why do I feel that the person who won the championship looks like you?" Ling Shuiyi frowned slightly, showing dissatisfaction. "Everyone is a family, what about you and me? You still see me like this, do you never treat me as one of your own?" Since the competition has ended, an awards ceremony will be held later. Luo Ling could only take his three little ones and Ling Shuiyi to get out of the stage and leave it to the staff to take care of it. He also said, "I don't have this idea, don't put a high hat on me. Anyway, as long as you're happy, I don't care." Ling Shuiyi made a soft disdainful sound, as if she had won the verbal battle. And not long after, the awards ceremony officially begins. Although the top three in the contest can all win awards, the one that attracts the most attention is naturally the champion. And as the second place, Wu Quan did not choose to go on stage to accept the award. So at the awards ceremony, only the champion Luo Ling and the third runner-up Ling Shuiyi appeared. Many media outlets across the country were waiting for food, hoping to interview this year's champion immediately after the award ceremony. And when the awards were presented, there were quite a few reporter media taking pictures at the scene. At this moment, Luo Ling deservedly became the focus of national attention. As the third runner-up, Ling Shuiyi, although there are reporters who want to interview, but there are definitely not as many as the champion. It didn't matter to her though. The more people's attention Luo Ling received, the stronger Luo Ling's strength proved, the happier Ling Shuiyi would be. She didn't mind giving up more of her shots to Luo Ling. However, for Luo Ling, I'm afraid it's not something to be happy about. Receiving an award should have been a joy. But since the moment he got the trophy, countless media have been waiting to interview him. There are so many, it can't be completed in 1 or 2 hours. Luo Ling also said it from a happy heart. Excitement, gradually worn down by patience, turned into a mask of pain. According to the regulations of the competition. Finally, during the interview, Lori needed to show all 3 of his Pokémon that had appeared on stage in the competition. Not only the champion trainer deserves to be interviewed and followed. Even the Pokémon that debuted are worth it all. First, there was the interview with the reporters, which lasted for 4 or 5 hours. 0. I thought it would be over like this, but when I came to the backstage of the conference, Luo Ling realized that his thinking was too simple. As soon as he came here, many so-called seniors whom he had never seen before ran over and surrounded Luo Ling. Congratulations on winning the championship. In fact, I have always been optimistic about you and think you are a very good face. Have you considered coming to our university? Our university will definitely give you the most resources. Our Kyoto University is also worthy of your consideration. Tsingbei University is also good. I am a senior who was admitted to Qingbei University. These people are really great. Luo Ling knows that those who have won good rankings in the National High School League will naturally attract the attention of many colleges and universities. This is a bit similar to the college entrance examination in the previous life. If he got the provincial champion, people from colleges and universities would have already started grabbing it. I just didn't expect it to be so fast. After all these so-called seniors are sent away, there will be various arrangements made by the staff after greetings. Moreover, Luo Ling and the 3 little ones need to participate in the whole process. After this operation, San Xiaoji and Luo Ling were exhausted. After finally waiting for all this to end, Luo Ling sat helplessly in the rest hall of the players and finally took a breather. As for the 3 little ones, they were already very sleepy. When they stayed beside Luo Ling, they could only resist falling asleep, but their bodies were still a little wobbly. Seeing this, Lori could only take the 3 little ones back to the Pokeball King. In the past few days, each of the 3 little ones is very tired. It would be great if people could temporarily block the outside world and enter the Pokeball to rest. Anyway, there are humanoid Pokemon. Isn't that what Master G and many of his friends are like? What Mega Punch, Quick Attack, Bullet Seed, etc., these are not all ZA's special moves. Congratulations, Luo Ling, not only won the championship of this year's league, but also brought such a wonderful battle to everyone. Suddenly, a strange voice rang in my ears. This startled Luo Ling, thinking it was another procedure arranged by the organizing committee of the competition. When I opened my eyes, fortunately, it was only the alliance leader of the Pokemon Alliance in Hangzhou. The other party didn't talk nonsense, and directly took out the high-level secret treasure bike voucher from his pocket. This is your reward for winning the championship, accept it. Even if you don't need it yourself, you can give it to a friend. The alliance leader is very clear that with Luo Ling's family background, it is not a problem at all to obtain high-level secret treasures. But according to the rules, there must be no less than one thing that should be given. No one can have too many good things. After Luo Ling expressed his gratitude, he immediately accepted a bike voucher. Also, this is a secret pass. With this thing, you can go to Dongwang Holy Land. There are many treasures in there, but what you can get depends on your own good fortune. Compared with the 3 high-level secret treasure bike vouchers just now, the secret realm pass is what Luo Ling wants. With this thing, you can enter the Holy Land of Dongwang. According to Dad, after entering Dongwang Holy Land, we'll get a great opportunity factory. Chapter 68 I said this is an ancient relative of Salamence, do you believe it? After the National High School League ended, Luo Ling returned home. After this battle, he became famous all over the country and became the strongest new generation among netizens all over the country. Even though the match had been over for 2 or 3 days, the internet was still full of records of battles between Luo Ling and Wu Quan. The battle between the two of them has become a classic battle in the history of the high school league. Many schools have even used this battle as teaching material. It is enough to see that this battle of the Dragon Department defeating the Fairy Department played a very important reference for trainers across the country. Even if not everyone can get a lot of excellent resources like the children of the family. But, both Wu Quan and Luo Ling are descendants of aristocratic families. They have obtained family resources since childhood, so this battle is relatively fair. However, Luo Ling is now busy training the 3 little ones all day long, and is not interested in what happens online at all. Since defeating the Great Blacksmith and Sylveon successively, Fracture is more energetic than before. As a dragon type, defeating the restrained fairy type, this is the pride of the dragon type. If this glorious deed reaches the ears of other compatriots, they will have to walk in front of them with their heads held high. For this reason, Luo Ling also gave Fracture many food rewards. The second brother, Doran Messia, took the opportunity to enjoy it with him. At this time, he was lying down and eating a sandwich leisurely. Follow our family Fracture. No need to fight and have a steady supply of delicious food. This is the correct way to open up the big brother. This life is so beautiful. Dratini, use agility to dodge Salamance's attack. On the other side, there was the sound of fighting. It was Luo Ling who took Dratini and forcibly borrowed his old father's Salamence to start training. Well, definitely not ballistic. Just borrow. None of the Pokémon were forced during this training. Dratini still feels a pity that 953 did not appear in the National High School League. After returning home, it felt that it should work harder to enhance its own strength. Only in this way can there be more possibilities of playing in the subsequent battles. It also wants to win the game for Luo Ling. Opportunities are for those who are prepared, yes. So step up your training and live up to expectations. Salamence flew into the air and flew straight towards Dratini. The latter kept dodging with agility, but he didn't receive the command to attack. He just kept defending and dodging. This is for Luo Ling to exercise Dratini's speed and reflexes. You know, after Dratini finally evolved into Dragonite, it is one of the fastest flying Pokémon. Then Luo Ling must maximize this advantage. This will be the basis for Dragonite's success in battle in the future. As the so-called training, you have to start from the baby, and you can't just ignore Dratini just because he is still in the first stage. At this time, in front of Luo Ling's eyes, a prompt box popped out suddenly. Hidden hint. The host has detected the breeder demand for dragon Pokémon, and has customized the breeder plan for you. Close black lens bracket. Option 1 Economical. Make dragon scale into a necklace or other accessories and wear it on dragon-type Pokémon, so that its power will gradually merge with Pokémon, and the absorption speed will be slower. Close black lens bracket. Option 2 Compromise. Smash Dragon Fang. Mix it with Golden Nanab Berry and feed it with dragon Pokémon, which can quickly absorb the energy of dragons. Close black lens bracket. Scheme 3 Shenhao Type. Catalyze Dragon Gem and Dragon Fang with the power of Yulong. Boil Pokémon candy into soup. Let Pokémon drink it, and the Pokémon's ability will be greatly improved. Close black lens bracket. The solution given by the system is really timely. There is no doubt that Luo Ling will naturally choose the mediocre Shenhao breeder solution. Luo Ling has 3 high-level secret treasures bike voucher that he doesn't know how to use, and they can be exchanged at the Pokémon Alliance. As for the Dragon Gem, just call the gym and ask them to deliver it. In short, adhering to the principle of using free ones first, and then using our own resources, we are singing all the way to the road of Shenhao breeder. That day, with just one phone call, the gym quickly delivers what is needed. As for the exchange of Dragon Fang, just ask the people in the gym to help you run errands. Everyone, you are lucky this time. Everyone can be strengthened by Dragon Fang. Maybe it's sensing the change in Luo Ling's mood, or maybe it's anticipating that something good will happen. Dratini rubbed against Luo Ling's feet, his eyes narrowed into a line. Fracture also put down the sandwich in his hand following his big brother Doran Messiah, and rushed into Luo Ling's arms while running and jumping. Axu. Proposal. Dulu. Luo Ling petted the 3 cubs again and again, not forgetting to admonish them. This time, it is the bike voucher that was obtained through the competition. Everyone must cherish the treasure that Fracture won for everyone. In the future, I will train hard and become stronger. Don't be special, Xiao Duolong, you are the big brother, don't take the lead and show off. When making suggestions to Fracture and Dratini, they both readily accepted and nodded solemnly. But once it talked about the messy things of Doran Messiah, it pretended not to hear it, and quickly turned its head to the other side. Luo Ling changed its body position slightly, and this guy changed another direction. Good guy, so arrogant. Is this the pride of being full of hard work? Not bad, Luo Ling likes it. As a proud dragon, you should show this kind of attitude, and you are worthy of Luo Ling's Pokémon. A little later, the people in the gymnasium had already delivered all the things Luo Ling needed. At the moment, stimulate your own dragon power. These secret treasures were used by San Xiaoji. Immediately afterwards, Salamance's mission was not yet completed. After breeding Pokémon, you can't rest immediately, just let Salamence fight 3 and train 3 little ones at the same time. In this way, even if Duolong Maya wants to be bad, it is impossible. Dad's Salamence is very strong, even if he faces these 3 little ones, he is no problem at all. Salamence, since it's training, it can't be too easy. You understand. Luo Ling was already standing behind the 3 little ones, directing them at any time. It's just that Salamence is too distressed to speak out. Do your best. The thing accidentally beat all 3 little ones to the ground. So is the little master going to beat me to death? Or to kill? Or to kill? So many options, it's hard to choose. Boom. Salamence shook the blood-red dual wingbeat and flew into the air, and blasted him with a dragon pulse. But my heart is crying, I can figure it out. Fracture. Climb up the tree. Dratini, use agility to go around. Doran Maya, dodging with double team, approaching Salamence. According to the current contest condition of each Pokémon, Luo Ling makes them make different counterattacks. In this way, the training of the 3 little ones is in full swing. Twilight fell. Seeing the whole day of training, Luo Ling ended today's training with the 3 little ones and Salamence. After returning home, Luo Ling saw that his parents seemed to be talking about something, and there was something strange in their expressions. Son, you came just in time. A big news happened today. Luo Hongji waved at Luo Ling, who took a step forward. The 4 sacred places in our Dragon Kingdom have a characteristic, that is, the surrounding environment is very unstable and changes frequently. Sometimes even time rifts form, although they don't last long. In the past 2 days, when I was observing the Holy Land of Dongwang, I found that something seemed to have changed again. As soon as these words came out, Luo Ling's attention was immediately attracted. He has always hoped to go to Dongwang Holy Land as soon as possible, and wants to see if he can encounter any opportunities. What his father said made him even more fascinated. Did this change bring any strange things? Luo Ling asked. Luo Hongji nodded while recalling. Indeed, I accidentally saw a very strange salamence, which had thorns and feathers all over its body. The body shape and appearance of this salamence seem to be different from what we are usually familiar with, and it does not belong to the scrapped Mega Evolution type. It is a brand new form that has never been seen before. It's not just me, other people who observed the secrets of the Holy Land also saw this salamence, and successfully captured it and sent the photo over. When Luo Hongji explained, Xu Yan turned to Luo Ling the photo she had just received. When the latter saw it, his eyes lit up instantly. Isn't this the rumbling moon? No wonder Dad said it was a new form of salamence. In fact, it is not unreasonable. Rumbling moon, to be precise, is a relative of salamence, or the kind from ancient times. Between the two, only the timeline of existence is different. Therefore, there will be some differences in appearance, but similarities can still be seen. Thinking back to what Luo Hongji just said about the changes in the secret realm of the Holy Land, it is likely to bring about the appearance of gaps in time and space. Then this roaring moon is very likely to use the space-time gap to travel from ancient times. It is also very likely that when the gap in time disappears, they will return to the ancient times together. Of course, this is just Luo Ling's own conjecture. I am afraid that we will have to wait until the Dongwang Holy Land to find out the specific real reason. But in any case, this is indeed the best opportunity to seize the rumbling moon. Just like what Luo Hongji said, the Holy Land of the Secret Realm is constantly changing, and the environment is very unstable. Maybe when it changes next time, the roar will disappear along with it. Mom and Dad, I want to go to Dongwang Secret Realm in these 2 days. Hearing what Luo Ling said suddenly, although the couple were not surprised, they were somewhat worried about their son's comfort. They knew that Luo Ling definitely wanted to see this new form of salamence. After all, the secret realm has just changed. And something so big happened. It should not be too late to make plans after the more professional explorers investigate clearly in the early stage. Besides, this is what the state will do. The current Holy Land secret realm is probably more dangerous than usual. Are you sure you want to go now? What kind of Pokémon is the new form of salamence? It is still not clear. It's dangerous for you to rush forward like this. Xu Yan hurriedly took back the photo, fearing that Luo Ling would strengthen her mind by looking at it a few more times. But even if he took the photo back, there was no way to change Luo Ling. Don't worry, I'm just going to have a look. If I am in danger, I will definitely give priority to protecting myself. Facing Luo Ling's firm attitude, what does Xu Yanggong want to say? Well, but was pulled back by Luo Hongji at the side. Since you have considered it clearly, your mother and I respect your decision. I trust my son will not let me down in doing things. Just hearing Luo Hongji's words made Xu Yan's pupils widen. But she is also very clear that no matter what she says now, she will definitely not be able to persuade Luo Ling. Don't you know what kind of temperament this piece of meat fell off from your body? Just like the words that mothers all over the world will say. Same as your dad. Go ahead and get ready. After all, it is one of the 4 sacred places in the country, so prepare more supplies and don't be careless. Luo Ling nodded, turned and returned to his room. Xu Yan, who was still sitting in the lobby, said angrily, "Are you so relieved to let your son go to Dongwang Holy Land now? It's fine if it's normal. Now that the secret realm has changed, there are many unknown dangers, so you're not worried at all." Faced with doubts, Luo Hongji seemed very indifferent. He asked Xu Yan to calm down first. At the same time, he said, "It's normal for a child to have his own ideas when he grows up. As parents, we must support him wholeheartedly. Besides, you can see that the Pokémon he cultivated is so strong, and it's not like you haven't seen his performance in the high school league. Give children more confidence, don't worry about this and that all day long." Xu Yan was silent. Luo Hongji was right. Luo Ling really never let them worry about it, and the Pokémon he cultivated were top-notch among their peers. So I had to decide to let go. Luo Hongji knocked on the side of the chair habitually. In the next second, Duolong Bartuo appeared beside him out of thin air, and bent down to listen to his words. Follow up secretly and secretly protect Luo Ling. Doran Bart nodded and disappeared once again out of thin air. Luo Ling's current Pokémon is naturally an almost unrivaled contest condition among his peers. Although Dongwang Holy Land is considered a holy land, there are usually no high-level Pokémon in it, and it is more like a training place to use its instability. But just in case, it's better to let Doran Bardo protect secretly. At the same time, after Luo Ling returned to the room, he began to prepare the items needed for this trip. In particular, I used the system to inspect the situation of the 3 little ones. Open black lens bracket fracture. Dragon black flash close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level 40 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Stubborn close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Exception with the determination to break the 2.8 routine, you can ignore the opponent's ability when attacking. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Dratini. Dragon close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level. 42 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Brave close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Magic scale, when in status condition, the defense will be increased. Close black lens bracket. Comma. Open black lens bracket dragon messiah. Dragon flash close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level. 42 close black lens bracket. Character. Lot. Open black lens bracket ability. Penetration attacks are penetrating, can penetrate barriers or substitutes to attack. Close black lens bracket. The level of Dratini has reached the conditions for evolution in the game. But after all, the game and reality are two different things. Just having a level does not necessarily lead to evolution. Evolution pays attention to the combination of ability and various opportunities. Just like when Axew evolved into Fracture in the National High School League. Maybe Dratini managed to evolve at some point later. The three little ones are all healthy except that they are a little tired from training today. As long as you rest this night, you will be able to recover completely in no time. The next day, Li Yan made a rich breakfast early in the morning, and wished Luo Ling a successful trip. You have to be more careful along the way, and you can almost come back. Your dad and I are still at home waiting for your good news. Luo Hongji also said, I trust your judgment, and I hope that I can gain a lot from this trip to the Holy Land. Sometimes, being caught is also a kind of happiness. Luo Ling agreed, and left after breakfast. In order to reach the destination as soon as possible, he also called a steel-armored crow flying taxi. It's just that when he climbed on the back of the steel-armored crow, he looked at his influence, and the corners of his mouth turned up slightly. It seems that the old father is still more worried about his son than he imagined. However, Luo Ling didn't expose it, pretending that he didn't know anything, and directly called a steel-armored crow for rent, and flew to the Holy Land of Dongwang. Chapter 69 Sacred Land Forest, Opportunities and Dangers Coexist. Dongwang Holy Land is located in Su City, east of Longguo, only tens of kilometers away from Hangzhou City. Steel-armored crow flew for a few hours and arrived in Su City. There are a large number of heavy guards around the edge of the Holy Land, and each soldier standing guard is equipped with more than one tall, mighty and handsome Arcanine, which fits the temperament of the soldiers very well. As a special police and military Pokémon, Arcanine's nature and ability can well cooperate with soldiers in combat and rescue, etc. It is the best choice for soldiers as their work partner Pokémon. As soon as Luo Ling set foot in this area, the Arcanines on the periphery already sensed someone intruding. Who? Stop. The Holy Land of the Dragon Kingdom, ordinary people are forbidden to enter. Finding something wrong with Arcanine, the captain of the team guarding the Holy Land roared in the direction Arcanine was looking at. After a while, a high school student came towards the Holy Land. Luo Ling. Who doesn't know? He just won the championship in the National High School League 2 days ago. He is the hottest high school student at the moment, and he is also the Grand Duke son of a dragon family. The first place in the competition is indeed eligible to go to the secret place of the Holy Land to find their own opportunities. It made sense for Luo Ling to appear in the Holy Land of Dongwang. It's just that what the captain didn't expect was that Luo Ling came here in such a hurry just a few days after the high school league. Even if a disciple of an aristocratic family has strength beyond that of ordinary people, he will have to prepare for a long time before he dares to break into the Holy Land without distraction. I am afraid that he is the first one with such a strong head like Luo Ling. At least, the captain hadn't seen anyone else do it. When Luo Ling got a little closer, the captain greeted him with a smile. So it's Mr. Luo. I was slightly offended by my words just now, please forgive me. Master Luo, are you going to go to Dongwang Holy Land now? Luo Ling responded and nodded. The captain continued. Then please show the secret pass. After handing over the items to the other party, Luo Ling did not forget to ask. I heard that the Dongwang Holy Land has changed recently, and some people have seen a new form of salamence. Do you know which direction it is probably in? These guards are stationed around the holy place all year round. It can't help but play the role of caretaker, and at the same time, it will also conduct O3 observation and exploration of the Holy Land. The purpose is to find and give reasonable explanations for many phenomena in the Holy Land, so there are also scientists who often come and go here. It would be more reliable to ask them about the whereabouts of Rumbling Moon. The captain of the guard was taken aback, and responded. It turns out that Mr. Luo came here for salamence. It is a form that has never been discovered before. Mr. Luo still needs to be careful. While speaking, the captain of the guard had already confirmed the authenticity of the pass roll. Finally, he continued. Young Master Luo, we still need to check your accompanying Pokémon to ensure that Pokémon can protect you after entering the Holy Land. Luo Ling understands that this is to ensure that those who enter the Holy Land have the ability to protect themselves. Although the level of Pokémon in the Holy Land is not too high, it can be dealt with by unusual operations. Release all 3 little ones. The captain checks it out. It will take a little longer, just wait for a while. And Luo Ling is not the only one who also wants to enter the Holy Land of Dongwang. When everyone saw the 3 Pokémon that Luo Ling took out, one was rarer than the other, and there were even 2 flashes, they were all stunned and stunned. Dare to ask, which 18-year-old child has such a configuration? Those who don't know Luo Ling, or those who are not familiar with it, are very curious about which family's children are able to stage the drama of quasi-god and bad street. Since there are so many quasi-gods, can we share one? No, We begged for one. Even if you don't want to be quasi-god, it's okay to be a little worse. Not to mention too, ordinary people can get a quasi-god level Pokémon, and then they can directly rise to the top in this life. Even if there are not too many resources for cultivation. Your school will definitely support you. After all, as far as the school is concerned, it is also an honor for the school to be able to cultivate a famous student. Not only can the reputation of the school be improved, but the quality of students enrolled in the future will definitely be higher, which is beneficial and harmless. Waiting on the spot for a while, the security captain said to the team members guarding the checkpoint behind him, "The test is passed, you can let it go." The team members nodded silently and released the checkpoint. The captain did not forget to ask, "Mr. Luo, do you need us to send someone to follow?" No need. After Luo Ling shook his head and expressed his thanks, he immediately entered the Holy Land. Moreover, Dongwang Holy Land is not considered the most dangerous place in the entire Dragon Kingdom. Otherwise, it will definitely not be in a semi-open contest condition. Luo Ling doesn't have time to chat with other people. Since the rumbling moon has appeared, no matter what the reason is, it must be captured as soon as possible. Dongwang Holy Land has changed in a mysterious new form of salamence. These are tantamount to bringing thousands of changes to the Dragon Kingdom. Although I don't know it, there are definitely not a few people who want to get the rumbling moon. Luo Ling must hurry up and be careful not to be preempted by others. Not as good as Dongwang Holy Land, a rainforest hit. It is the rainy season here all year round, but only when the Holy Land changes, it will remain sunny for at least a week. But because of the perennial rain, you can see a lot of tree fruits everywhere. However, most of them are relatively common types, but some rare berries can still be found. The further you go in, the more rare berries you can see. Rosalie berry, Haban berry, Pattaya berry, and Yashe berry. Luo Ling was amazed when he saw these high-quality fruits. After all, these advanced berries are extremely rare, and they are all berries that are more suitable for dragon Pokémon. Even for the Luo family, which is a dragon family, it is very difficult to cultivate these fruits, and the output is not much. I didn't expect to see them so frequently after stepping into the Holy Land of Dongwang. Is this one of the legendary 4 holy places of the Dragon Kingdom? It made Luo Ling ecstatic for quite a while. After finally coming to this holy place, it must not be just for the roaring moon. Luo Ling hurriedly collected all these relatively rare fruits. Especially for the berries that can effectively breed the Pokémon of the breeder dragon line, none of them will be missed. As for other types of Pokémon berries, you can fill a dozen of each type appropriately. Fruits that are suitable for dragons can be kept for your own use, and the surplus can also be given to the gymnasium at home. As for the berries that are suitable for other attribute Pokémon, you can leave it to the servants to do whatever you want. According to the information currently known about the Holy Land. The deeper you go, the more rare things you can see. But the primary purpose of Luo Ling's visit this time is not the tree fruit, he must first find the roaring ear. According to the direction pointed by the captain before, I will pick up whatever I encounter on the road, and I will not deliberately explore the depths for rare berries. The entire Dongwang Holy Land is divided into 3 major areas. The deepest central area, the slightly peripheral central area, and the current peripheral area. The further you go, the stronger the wild Pokémon you encounter, and the more dangerous it is. The last time the rumbling moon appeared, it was in the south. Just now Luo Ling entered through the east gate of the Holy Land. If you want to go as far as possible, judging from the map, you must pass through the central area from the cross-section, which is the best route. The 3 little ones that Luo Ling now owns have all exceeded the 40th level. As long as you don't enter the central area and carry out activities within the outer 2 circles, you should still be able to do a job with ease. Fortunately, because of being able to find the roaring ear as soon as possible, Luo Ling decided to go straight across the central area. He is not worried about the issue of time, because according to the research conducted by experts and scholars, they found that the time and space inside the Holy Land are unstable. But it is very strange that nothing changes when you go out from the entrance. According to the ancient text carved on the stone wall in the secret realm, scholars believe that it is likely to be closely related to the legendary twin gods of time and space. The so-called secret realm is very likely to be born under the influence of their history. This may also explain why the relationship with the ancient roaring moon was found in the Holy Land of Dongwang. But Luo Ling didn't care. To him, as long as he could catch the rumbling moon, the most important thing was to catch some good things along the way. It is still in the outer circle of the east. Luo Ling directly released all 3 little ones. After all, it is a holy place, and you may encounter some wild Pokémon from time to time. Just use these Pokémon to practice your hands. Suddenly, there was a rustling in the woods ahead. Taking a closer look, it turned out to be a Grotle slowly crawling towards this side. Perhaps because it violated its territory, Grotle looked at the 3 little ones and Luo Ling with stern eyes, as if they were not to be trifled with. Luo Ling was secretly delighted. The Yusanjia, who are usually hard to meet, can be seen often in the Holy Land. I thought there was only one Grotle. But Luo Ling seems to have made a mistake. More and more Grotles appeared in front of them, and they stood in groups and rows, very united. Europe, Europe, Europe. This group of Grotle issued a continuous growl. It seems that they are ready to do something. Doran Messiah, Dratini, Fracture, it's time to test your training results. Defeat all these Grotles. Dragon Tail, Agility, Quick Attack. Bump, bump, bump. In the dense forest, the sounds of fighting erupted one after another. While commanding the three little ones to fight, Luo Ling was also observing the surrounding situation. The sound of battle is likely to attract other Pokémon around, so you must be vigilant at all times. Because it is in the outer area of the Holy Land, the level of these Grottles is not very high. Check through the system and find that it is generally between 30 and 33. Luo Ling's 3 Pokémon are now over level 40, and they can completely beat these Grottles. In about 10 minutes, all the Grottles were wiped out. Open black lens bracket Dratini defeated the enemy with the cooperation of his companions, LV42 right pointing arrow LV43, close black lens bracket. Doran Messia defeated the enemy LV42 and LV43 with the cooperation of his companions. Open black lens bracket Fracture defeated the enemy with the cooperation of his companions, LV40 right pointing arrow LV41, close black lens bracket. Pretty, although the level of these Grottles is relatively low. But there are enough of them to appear at once. It directly raised the level of the 3 little ones by 1 level. Although there are not many, the fly legs are also meat. It's a pity that this level of fighting is not enough for Pokémon to evolve. Especially Dratini, who followed Luo Ling from the beginning and got the best resource breeder. But it's been so long, and it still hasn't evolved. But this is also beneficial. Like this quasi-god level Pokémon, the later it evolves, the stronger it will be after Purify. After the battle, the 3 little ones returned to Luo Ling's side, seeking praise in their own ways. Luo Ling touched their foreheads respectively, and at the same time took out energy cubes to reward them. Very good, you did a great job just now. We still have a long way to go, and you will encounter many enemies, but you must not relax. Proposal. Axu. Do. Hearing Luo Ling's words, Reboy suddenly became serious. This appearance is very cute. Luo Ling also showed a smile, and then continued to move forward with the 3 little ones. Along the way, we often meet some wild Pokémon, such as Sudowoodo, Vileplume, Tangrowth, Excadrill, Girder, etc. The levels of these wild Pokémon are generally 30 plus, but none of them exceeds level 40. The 3 little ones are like normal bulldozers, pushing them flat all the way. Whenever you encounter a wild Pokémon that 883 actively attacks Luo Ling, you can instantly kill it easily. This way down, it can be said to be extremely easy. It's even simpler than imagined. Taking a look at the current region, it is conveniently located in the center of Dongwang Holy Land. Before entering, Luo Ling did not forget to say to San Xiaoji, the enemies ahead will be even more powerful, but our goal is not to defeat all the enemies. We have to go through this area as soon as possible, we can't waste too much time, understand? The 3 little ones nodded respectively, obediently rubbing their heads against Luo Ling's leg. After almost preparation, directly entered the center circle. Just entered, intuitively, I don't feel much change. Waiting until a wild Leavanny appeared in front of him, Luo Ling checked the opponent's attribute with the system. Open black lens bracket Leavanny. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level. 41 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Impatient close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Insect premonition. After being damaged, the power of the attribute move will be strong. Close black lens bracket. Individual values. HP 26, physical attack 27, special attack 28, physical defense 24, special defense 20, speed 25. Open black lens bracket skill. Close black lens bracket. Qualification. Gym level. Good guy. This has just entered the center circle layer, and the first wild Pokémon encountered directly exceeded level 40. Could this be a little too big of a joke? It seems that Dongwang Holy Land is not too simple as imagined. There is no problem with Solacean activities in the outer circle, but if you want to walk in a slightly deeper range, you really have to be more careful. Now that we have encountered, why not go to war directly? Attention everyone, spread out your positions. Fracture, use Bulldoze. Dratini, use Dragon Rush. Doran Messia, use Quick Attack. The 3 little ones went into battle together, and their levels were also over level 40. In the case of almost the same level, 1 against 3, Leavanny's winning rate is still slim. Leavanny was furious and used the struggle bug to successfully block Fracture's attack, but was directly hit by Dratini and Doran Messia. This battle ended quickly with a numerical advantage. The attacks of the 2 seniors both hit, and only Fracture's attack was resolved, which made him a little depressed for a while. Axu. Dratini and Doran Messia are like their predecessors, normal, standing by Fracture's side and constantly comforting him. Luo Ling also hurried forward and said, don't be discouraged, the enemy used the skill of protection just now, but it happened to defuse your attack. But that doesn't mean your attack just now was useless. Only if you neutralize the opponent's defense first, can Dratini and Xiaoduolong successfully attack. This battle is thanks to you. Hearing Luo Ling say this, he brought the approval of the 2 seniors. Fracture is in a much better mood. Roar. Suddenly, there was a neighing sound from the depths of the dense forest. Chapter 70 Rumbling Moon debuts, Dratini evolves. Boom. Deep in the dense forest, there was a deafening sound. In the next second, countless large and small Pokémon were seen fleeing from the depths of the jungle. Looking around, most of Pidgey, Spearow, Vullaby, Raticate, Sandshrew, etc. are relatively weak Pokémon. These Pokémon looked flustered, as if they were in danger. Hint. Paradoxical Pokémon found in the depths of the Holy Land. Absurd Pokémon geographical information has been obtained. Close black lens bracket. Just when Luo Ling was puzzled, the interface of the system suddenly appeared in front of him. Paradoxical Pokémon. It's Roaring Moon. The so-called paradoxical Pokémon is the ancient species that the current Pokémon existed in ancient times, or the future species in the future era. However, the specific reasons for this have not yet been ascertained. And reality is different from games. The paradoxical Pokémon in the game can be called a group, and there are many of them. In reality, because it is an ancient species or a future species, it does not exist in modern times, so it is unique at present. This Roaring Moon is the ancient form of Salamence. It is also the only one in the world. Presumably the neighing sound that came from the depths of the dense forest just now should be caused by the Roaring Moon. I heard from the security captain before that the last time I saw Rumbling Moon was in the south, but I didn't expect to meet him at a position outside the central circle. It seems that the Roaring Moon has been constantly moving during the period of time. Proposal. Proposal. Dratini roared in the direction of the sound, his body trembling constantly. Its fighting spirit as a dragon is reverberating in its body at this moment. The hissing of the Roaring Moon just now was aroused. Luo Ling's Dratini is an out-and-out inner circle dragon. The current situation has raised the desire to fight to the extreme. Before Luo Ling could react, Dratini bit his trousers with his mouth and kept moving forward. Okay, I know you want to fight it. Luo Ling squatted down, gently stroking Dratini's head. The latter let go of his mouth, looked at Luo Ling firmly, and nodded. Luo Ling knew that Dratini hadn't become so serious for a long time. The contest condition it shows now is already very excited. It is impossible to stop it at this time. In any case, Luo Ling is determined to win the Rumbling Moon. It's better to let Dratini and Rumbling Moon fight first, and it's not too late to satisfy Dratini's desire. Fracture, Xiao Duolong, do you want to see it too? Luo Ling looked at the two cubs beside him. They also nodded in affirmation. Axu, do, okay. Luo Ling laughed, since everyone agrees, let's hurry up and find the Rumbling Moon. After speaking, Luo Ling checked the equipment on his body and confirmed that it was correct, then he took the three little ones and ran towards the direction where the sound came from. When the sun shines through Su Yi's body, Luo Ling can't help but stare back at his own shadow, and his father's Duolong Barduo continues to follow. Father is really duplicity, obviously very concerned, but always do not say it directly. Luo Ling thought so in his heart. He didn't point it out directly, and let Duolong Barduo follow him silently, perhaps only in this way can he make his father feel more at ease. Boom, boom, the hissing in the depths of the dense forest continued. The closer you get, the more Pokémon you can see scrambling to escape. Among them, there are even some Pokémon who are stronger or have a more brutal personality. When they saw Luo Ling and the three little ones, not only did they not have the slightest will to fight, but the panic on their faces was not relieved, so they walked past Luo Ling and the three little ones and left. So on this road, it can be said to be unimpeded. Luo Ling also mastered the method. The hissing sound is just a general direction that help can judge by himself. The real specific direction depends on where the fleeing Pokémon come from. But the more Pokémon you encounter, the closer you are to the Rumbling Moon. At the same time, the system is constantly updating the geographic location information. Hint. Paradoxical Pokémon is located at the host's 3 o'clock direction. Close black lens bracket. Hint. Paradoxical Pokémon is located in the direction of the host at 1 o'clock. Close black lens bracket. Hint. Paradoxical Pokémon is located at 11 o'clock to the host. Close black lens bracket. Soon, the system prompt stopped. Luo Ling also saw ahead, a roaring moon based on the appearance of Salamence, but with many light blue feathers on the wings and tail, and a more angular head. Luo Ling checked the information of this rumbling moon for the first time. Open black lens bracket roaring moon. Dragon evil close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level, 50 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character, impatient close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Ancient activity ability will be improved when it is sunny or wearing a drive energy device, close black lens bracket. Individual value. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket skills. Sunny day, breaking swipe, dragon breath, flamethrower, bite, dragon claw, fire blast close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Master level close black lens bracket. Question mark question mark question mark. Luo Ling was surprised. He remembered that in the original game, the paradoxical Pokémon of Rumbling Moon had no gender at all. Why is this only female? Is it because of the real-world relationship? After all, there is no gender, isn't it? But having said that, this Roaring Moon actually has a full level of 50. And it's still full of individual value, master level qualifications. It's also surprising. You know, it's rare for wild Pokémon in this world to have such a high level. This is stronger than Luo Ling imagined. But it's actually quite normal when you think about it. In the original version of the game, the Roaring Moon that appeared in the 0th area started at level 60. Now this Roaring Moon has level 50, and it can be accepted suddenly. At the same time, Rumbling Moon also noticed Luo Ling who was rushing over, and the 3 Pokémon beside him, and made a hissing sound towards this direction. Salamence itself is a relatively brutal Pokémon, and as an ancient species, the Rumbling Moon is even more brutal. No wonder the surrounding Pokémon started fleeing after seeing Rumbling Moon. Besides, Roaring Moon has a strong sense of territory and will never allow her territory to be invaded. The moment he saw Luo Ling, he made a deep neighing sound, and at the same time assumed a fighting stance. The Roaring Moon at this moment is actually incomparably desperate and angry. It originally lived in the distant ancient times, but because it suddenly sensed something resonating with its own energy, it was attracted and wanted to find out. But I didn't expect to search along the direction of perception, but found that the space and time around me changed on the way, and I came to a strange place inexplicably. That is Dongwang Holy Land. The Roaring Moon with an extremely strong sense of territory suddenly felt helpless, and it wanted to find the direction to go back. But after searching for many days in a row, I found that this place was not the space and time I was familiar with, and my mood gradually changed from helplessness to despair, until now rage. Unable to return to his homeland, Rumbling Moon took Dongwang Holy Land as his own territory, taking the opportunity to continue looking for things that could resonate with his own energy. It made a deep neighing sound towards Luo Ling, just to warn him to leave quickly and not to approach. However, the three little ones beside Luo Ling showed an unusual desire to fight when facing the Rumbling Moon. Even though the Roaring Moon in front of him is much stronger than them, the bloody nature of a dragon-type Pokémon still makes the three little ones eager to try. Proposal, proposal, proposal. Dratini is the most energetic of the three little ones. It keeps jumping around Luo Ling, indicating that it finally has a chance to face a strong enemy. Endoran Messiah and Fracture followed closely behind, showing their strong desire to fight. Roaring Moon is a big guy. Everyone, get ready to fight. Luo Ling took out the Pokeball, gave an order, and rushed from the side to the roaring target at the same time. In field battles, there are no rules at all. This battle, of course, is a 3-on-1 fight without martial ethics. After all, although Luo Ling has an advantage in the number of Pokemon, each Pokemon is only in the early 40s. And the Roaring Moon in front of him has a species strength as high as 590 points, and its level is a full 50. It is the level of a strong second-level god, but there is no priesthood. Such a strong wild Pokemon can even single-handedly break through the Pokemon of the slightly weaker players in the professional league team that is not particularly strong. If you are fighting alone, the Pokemon in Luo Ling's hands are just a group of babies in front of Rumbling Moon. So, what if you don't talk about Wood? Should Rumbling Moon go to the police? At this time, Roaring Moon said, "This is bullying me and I have no teammates." Call. Rumbling Moon waved its wings and soared into the sky, creating a wave of tailwind leaning over and flying towards it. In the process of flying, use the move Scale Shot, and a large number of feathers are scattered from the wings and fall to the ground. This seems to be a feather with weak power, but it is not. The feather itself possesses extremely strong dragon power, and each feather is like a sharp dagger, with extremely strong penetrating power, but also extremely sharp. And there are so many of them that they even have a reflective effect. Standing on the ground, through the refraction of sunlight, it is not possible to find out how many feathers have fallen. It is even more impossible to avoid it. But we, Luo Ling, are holding a plugin in our hand. Hidden hint. The feather shot out by the Roaring Moon is actually dragon scale. Because the Roaring Moon is extinct in this era and is very rare, these scales belong to the low-level secret treasure level. Close black lens bracket. Combat tips. Scale Shot has a very wide attack range, and has provided the host with an optimal evasion solution. Close black lens bracket. Option 1. Jump behind the rock at 12 o'clock. Close black lens bracket. Option 2. Climb up the tree trunk at 3 o'clock. Close black lens bracket. Scheme 3. Bypass the tree hole on the side of the Roaring Moon. Close black lens bracket. Luo Ling immediately directed the three little ones to dodge, and he himself stood behind the tree roots. A large number of feathers fell on the ground, raising dust in many directions. Only then did Luo Ling have time to think about his next move. But recalling the prompt given by the system just now, call me an expert. Unexpectedly, the feather of the Roaring Moon is actually a dragon scale. No matter what level of secret treasure this thing is, it is very valuable. If you collect all the scattered scales, you can sell them for a good price. Suddenly, a new way to get rich appeared. If he was not born in a dragon family, he might be able to make money from the Rumbling Moon, which is so plentiful that even the Rumbling Moon would not dare to appear in this world. For a moment, Luo Ling had a slight illusion. This ratio is extinct in modern times, wouldn't it be that the wool was plucked and bald? After Scale Shot finished shooting, the dust dispersed, and the three little ones reappeared on the scene. Listen, speed up first, don't rush to attack. Dragon Dance. At the same time as giving the command, Luo Ling also activated the power of the dragon to cover the whole body of the three Pokémon. Cooperating with the speed advantage made up by Dragon Dance, when Rumbling Moon uses Scale Shot again next time, he can easily dodge left and right to avoid attacks. Seeing this scene, Fly was stunned in the Roaring Moon in soaring in the sky. The last time the Scale Shot was used, the bottom three Pokémon were only able to get through cover to avoid being hit. But after a few short seconds, when attacking again, the same move, the same power. The three Pokémon were able to escape with great ease. The gap before and after this is too big, it is unbelievable. The three Pokémon in front of me are also dragons, and they feel quite fierce. Roar. The Roaring Moon soaring in the sky hovered and roared, and swooped in from the ground. After hearing this roar, Luo Ling's three cubs also issued a corresponding growl, and at this moment, they were all full of fighting spirit. Although dragon Pokémon restrain each other, it is because of the internal fighting instinct engraved in the blood. Also because of this, face-to-face battles between dragon Pokémon will inspire a stronger fighting passion than usual. Even Doran Messiah, who usually likes to play badly, is full of fighting spirit at this moment. Not to mention Fracture and Dratini. Seeing the roaring moon getting closer, Luo Ling shouted, "Dratini, use Thunder Wave. Fracture and Doran, go around to the left and right and use Quick Attack to disrupt rival." The three little ones moved at the same time. Fracture and Doran Messiah ran to the left and right. Doran Messiah appeared in midair, disappeared, and reappeared. Fracture rises into the air with the help of the huge rock on the ground. When two Pokémon appear at the same time, the speed of Roaring Moon's leaning is affected. Ground's Dratini saw the right moment and released Thunder Wave into the air, hitting Thundering Moon immediately. Paralyzed by the Thunder Wave, Rumbling Moon not only slowed down his movement speed, but also fell Qian Nuohao onto the ground in an instant. Good chance. Dratini, Dragon Rush. At this moment, Dratini jumped and quickly rushed towards the Roaring Moon that hadn't lifted the paralysis contest condition. This stunned Rumbling Moon. Its level has reached level 50, and it has not yet learned the Dragon Rush move, but the little dragon cub in front of it can. This seems a bit counterintuitive. Dratini said. Common sense. Don't even look at who my trainer is. That's the young master of the Luo family. I still have dragon skills that I can't learn. You are fighting for talent, we are fighting for connections. Fortunately, there is a difference in level after all, and the paralysis effect is not very strong. Although the speed is affected, it can still deal with the enemy's offensive. Rumbling Moon raised her claws, and the strong breath full of dragon power gathered in the claws, making Dragon Claw and Dratini head to head. Boom. At the moment when Dratini and Rumbling Moon's attacks collided, the species strength of the two sides differed too much after all. Even with the power blessing of the power of Yulong, it still made Dratini seem a bit struggling. It pressed its head against the dragon claw of Rumbling Moon, and pushed forward with all its strength, showing a difficult expression. It's not hard to see that Dratini is desperate. Recalling that I didn't have the chance to play in the final Asia in the National High School League. Helping Luo Ling win the championship, it has always had regrets in its heart. Now I finally have the opportunity to perform well, I must show my full strength, and I can't say I'm defeated lightly. Under normal circumstances, the power gap between the two Pokémon is too large, and Dratini has already been beaten to the ground. But it is precisely because Dratini's heart is extremely strong that Covet won the victory, which stimulated the potential power and continued to fight against the roar. Seeing that he was about to be unable to hold on and was bounced off. A burst of intense silver light suddenly burst out from Dratini's body. Light of evolution. Luo Ling was shocked suddenly. Dratini has been stuck in the first stage for a long time, and now, it is finally going to evolve. Chapter 71. Do you want to become stronger? Then obediently score a goal. When the light of evolution faded, Dratini successfully evolved into Dragonair. Luo Ling immediately used the data eye to check. Open black lens bracket Dragonair close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level, 45 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character, brave close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Magical scale, when in status condition, the defense will increase extra, close black lens bracket. Individual values. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31. Open black lens bracket skills. Dragon Rush, Agility, Dragon Dance, Dragon Tail, Water Pulse, Thunder Wave, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Master level close black lens bracket. That's right, after Dratini evolved, his aptitude has been further improved, and he has reached the master level. It did not disappoint the two high-level secret treasures that Luo Ling used against Dratini. The level has also directly reached level 45, and all abilities have been greatly improved. Naturally, dealing with the Roaring Moon is not as difficult as before. Although Dragonair is not a shiny Pokémon, but because of the high effort value, there is no need for the other two. Axew. Fracture felt the familiar light of evolution and cried out excitedly. As the saying goes, several families are happy and others are sad. On the other side, Doran Messiah blinked his eyes, glanced at the change of the old big sister, and then turned to look at Luo Ling with a very aggrieved gaze. Why did they both evolve, but nothing happened to me? Both are dragon-type Pokémon, and they can also become quasi-god level. Why is there such a big gap? Doran Messiah's pitiful appearance and those oversized eyes made it hard not to feel pity in his heart. The evolution speed of Pokémon like it is slower than that of other Pokémon of the same level. Just in the game, if you want to evolve, you must reach level 50, so there is no need for it to be so wronged. I wanted to explain this point directly to him, but Luo Ling still felt that to take advantage of this opportunity to properly Pua, it is necessary to give it a good spur. Xiao Duolong, look at the other two sisters who have evolved one after another, but you haven't. Have you ever found a problem with yourself? Look, let's show what happened. In the future, if you participate in training more and more, and continue to put it on, maybe you really won't be able to evolve for a lifetime. If I can't keep up with my sisters, I have to think about sending you back to Dragon Valley for a Pokémon. I heard there's a Flash Bagon coming over there recently, tisk tisk, hungry eyes. Luo Ling fooled Doran Messiah seriously, as if everything he said was true. Facing 343 wonderful Pokémon like Duolong Mahia, it is necessary to use this kind of ghost education method. Doran Messia seemed to understand, and his aggrieved expression gradually turned into self-blame. Fudge. Doesn't exist, children don't understand this. Originally powerless, Dratini, after evolving into Dragonair, abruptly headed Rumbling Moon's Dragon Claw back. Although it failed to deal a blow to Rumbling Moon, it was able to take down Dragon Claw when there was a gap in level and the difference in physical attack between the two sides was so great. Good job. Good job Dragonair. Even Luo Ling was amazed by Dragonair. It's really worthy of the Pokémon that I have been cultivating for so long. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. Dragonair yelled at Roaring Moon, as if demonstrating to the other party, showing the essence of being a dragon Pokémon. Rumbling Moon was stunned. The Dragonair in front of her could not only know Dragon Rush, which she didn't know, but could even fight her head-to-head. But Dragonair seems to be not as high as its own level. Then why can you fight evenly with yourself? Rumbling Moon, who is also a dragon-type Pokémon, also broke out his warlike nature at this moment, and flew towards Dragonair again, clinging to the ground. Battle reminder. Rumbling Moon is about to use Flamethrower to attack at close range. Close black lens bracket. The prompt panel appeared in front of Luo Ling again, which made him a little overjoyed. Being able to know the next move of Rumbling Moon in advance will allow him to better deal with the opponent's attack. Everyone, run away, and don't be approached by the Rumbling Moon. Agility or quick attack. All three Pokémon will use fast-moving moves, plus the speed increase of the previous Dragon Dance. It is not a problem to avoid the Roaring Moon that normally launches an attack. Besides, the paralyzing effect of Rumbling Moon has not completely ended, otherwise it would have already flown into the sky. But this attack failed, and the time for the paralyzing effect just disappeared. Rumbling Moon circled in the air several times, let out a long roar, and spit out flames towards the ground. Combat tips. Rumbling Moon uses Dragon Breath to disrupt, and will use Breaking Swipe, a large-scale move. Close black lens bracket. Seeing this news, Luo Ling took a breath, and quickly told the three little ones to retreat, away from the attack range of the roaring target. Breaking Swipe is a powerful move of Rumbling Moon. Not only can it cause damage to all Pokémon on the ground indiscriminately, but it is also a physical attack method. Rumbling Moon's physical attack is already very strong. ADBG resorted to Breaking Swipe, a little carelessly, and sent the three little ones and Luo Ling home directly. With a burst of breath blowing away, the vision ahead was obstructed. Immediately afterwards, Roaring Moon leaned over to the ground, and at the moment when it was about to touch the ground, the rapid spin and room. It's a pity that it failed again this time. Through the system prompts, Luo Ling can almost know several important offensive routes of Rumbling Moon, and can methodically remove or avoid them, and then counterattack while taking advantage of the situation. Roaring Moon is powerful, but as a wild Pokémon, his combat awareness is naturally not bad. But if you want to compare it with a system that is almost omnipotent and omniscient, it must still be very different. As long as you can grasp a few key attack points of the opponent, Luo Ling will be effective at this station. Both Breaking Swipe and Flamethrower failed, making Rumbling Moon think about the next offensive mode. It seems that after careful consideration, Rumbling Moon releases the ability to change the weather, making the sunlight in the sky more intense. Battle tips. In the sunny day environment, the power of fire-type moves is enhanced, while the power of water-type moves is reduced. Close black lens bracket. Battle warning. Roaring Moon is about to use Dolphin Beat Up to attack Flamethrower and release it remotely. Close black lens bracket. It was the first time that Luo Ling encountered, reminder, turned into, warning. This is enough to show how powerful the next wave of attack is. Dragonair, since it chose to clear the sky, we will do the opposite. Grab it for the weather, use Prey for rain. Proposal. Dragonair quickly closed his eyes, and silently stretched his entire body a certain length above soaring in the sky. I saw that Dragonair's whole body was covered by a layer of faint blue light. Not long after, a drop of rain fell on Luo Ling's head. Little Duolong, use substitute to resist the enemy's attack. Boom. In the next second, the Roaring Moon in soaring in the sky opened its mouth, and the Emperor's flame was ejected from it. Unfortunately, its wishful thinking did not come true. In the case of rainy days, the effect of the moves used is increased, which is completely opposite to sunny day. The power of water-type moves is enhanced, while the power of fire-type moves is decreased. Besides, what Roaring Moon is best at is not special attack, but physical attack. So under this premise, the power of Flamethrower is not that high. Except for Dragonair, the three little ones all used defensive abilities, and didn't suffer too much damage. As for Dragonair itself, even though the damage it received was greater, it has already evolved and its level has been improved, so the impact is not too great. Rumbling Moon didn't notice that it was raining and soaring in the sky until all the flames were released. Its idea of burning down the ground on a large scale stopped at just an idea. Even for the flowers and trees that have been burned, the flames gradually dissipated in the rain. Very good. Well done everyone. Proposal. Axu. Do. The three little ones are in a good mood. Being able to successfully resist such a powerful attack from the enemy is a very valuable experience for them. Even Doran Messiah, who usually likes to play badly, has become much more active than before after being fooled by Trainer. It seems that it also wants to evolve as soon as possible. That's a good thing. Ruzi can be taught. As for Flash Bagon, well, there is no such thing, it doesn't exist. If there is, it will not affect the coexistence of our cubs. Boom. Roaring Moon was furious, it kept roaring at ground, but it didn't attack for a long time. This made Luo Ling feel a little strange. Just roar in soaring in the sky doesn't work, why does Roaring Moon do this? Just when he was wondering, Doran Messiah suddenly became manic. At this point, Luo Ling finally understood that the roar just now was not accidental, but the evil move Snarl, which would disturb the recruiter and make it difficult to exert the full power of the move. In order to prevent Dragonair and Fracture from being attacked, Luo Ling told them to cover their ears quickly. We can't let the Roaring Moon continue to cry. Dragonair, create a twister beside Rumbling Moon, interfere with it. At this moment, Dragonair's whole body glowed, and 4 small twisters gradually formed around it. Then it gradually grew bigger and flew towards the Roaring Moon. The air turbulence produced by the 4 twisters affected the Rumbling Moon's ability to float in the air, and it could only flap its wings. The twister was also used to resolve it. Doran Messiah finally regained his sanity from the upset. Battle warning. Rumbling Moon is about to use Hyper Beam. It was another warning, which surprised Luo Ling. As expected of a paradoxical Pokémon, the overall strength is so strong. With multiple powerful moves, you can really do whatever you want. Hyper Beam is one of the few moves that will be unable to move for a period of time after use, and will suffer a certain amount of backlash. It is also the most powerful among many Pokémon skills. It can also cause large-scale damage. The previous Flamethrower is much weaker than Hyper Beam. If it weren't for the system prompt, Luo Ling might not be able to lead the 3 little ones to deal with it calmly. Fracture. Dragonair quickly backed down. Little Duolong, use Substitute to resist this blow. As soon as the words fell, the Rumbling Moon stockpile was completed, and a powerful Hyper Beam was ejected from its mouth, approaching Duolong Messiah. Fortunately, the effect of Substitute is to resist an enemy's attack without taking any damage. When Hyper Beam successfully hit Substitute, Luo Ling and the 3 little ones finally breathed a sigh of relief. It's just that after this wave of attacks, the forest behind the 3 little ones has been directly destroyed. From a distance, it looks like a straight road that continues to spread backwards. It is obviously not good at special attack, but it can still have such power. This is changing the physical attack mentality. Other powerful moves, that's worth it. Luo Ling couldn't help sighing with emotion, is this the power of a 50-level Pokémon? The Roaring Moon in front of him seems to be more powerful than imagined. But Luo Ling didn't forget that after using Hyper Beam, Rumbling Moon would really be backlashed by moves, and he couldn't move for a while, so he could only slowly fall from the sky. Good chance. Fracture. Who Iron Head go straight over. Dragonair. Dragon Rush quickly follow. Little Dragon, use Dragon Tail. The 3 little ones walked forward in the order of Luo Ling's orders, and attacked with all their strength while the Roaring Moon was temporarily unable to move. The last second was still very powerful, but the next second it directly became a living target. Roaring Moon did not understand from the beginning to the end why all the attacks he made could be resolved by the opponent. In fact, if there is no system prompt, the 3 little ones are not necessarily the rival of Rumbling Moon. It's all because of the bad luck of Rumbling Moon, who ran into Luo Ling who owns the system. If it were someone else, I'm afraid they would have already won. Under the continuous attack of the 3 little ones. The Roaring Moon is constantly being consumed, coupled with the use of many powerful moves before, it has begun to gradually experience the. Seeing Luo Ling constantly commanding the 3 little Pokémon to fight, Rumbling Moon suddenly understood that it seemed that it was because of the human being in front of him that these 3 Pokémon became so powerful that they could compete with themselves. Fight shoulder to shoulder. Obviously, the level of these 3 little ones is not as good as his own, but he didn't expect that with one more human being, the change would be so great. Almost every Pokémon has a strong mentality, even the paradoxical Pokémon. Therefore, Roaring Moon couldn't help feeling envious. After all, in the ancient times when he lived, there was never such a thing as a trainer. If possible, Rumbling Moon also wants to follow the man in front of her to make herself stronger. Hidden hint. Roaring Moon has changed in her heart, hoping to get trainer's training. Close black lens bracket. Luo Ling was shocked, the battle was not completely over yet, unexpectedly there was an opportunity. So he quickly turned on the power of the dragon, wanting to try to get close to the roaring ears that are still immobile for the time being. It seems that there is no need to continue. The 3 little ones who were about to launch a new round of attacks suddenly stopped, tilted their heads and looked at Luo Ling with doubtful eyes. What, are you looking down on the 3 of us? Think we can't beat together? Obviously this roaring month is already a small party, why should it be stopped? We haven't played enough yet. In front of Luo Ling you. I know your heart actually wants to be stronger, right? Pokémon wants to become stronger, which is the result of two-way running with trainer. After speaking, he aimed the Pokeball at Rumbling Moon. If you want, you can enter this Pokeball, and I will breed you well in the future, making you stronger and stronger. While speaking, Luo Ling gently placed the Pokeball that had been prepared long ago in front of Rumbling Moon. Rumbling Moon froze. I just had a momentary thought, why, this trainer came up directly. That's how he knows me. This made Roaring Moon hesitate, but at the same time, he was also very excited. After all, as a dragon-type Pokemon, there is a spirit of growing stronger hidden in his blood. Glancing at the 3 little ones beside Luo Ling, they suddenly showed a nuclear look, especially the introverted Dragonair, who didn't look cool. Rumbling Moon remembered their performance in the battle just now, and now his current contest condition is not their rival at all. Fortunately, even if it is to be able to become stronger, gently. Rumbling Moon lightly touched the Pokeball with her forehead. Bump. As the Pokeball released a red light to envelop Rumbling Moon, it was put into the ball. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding. When the Pokeball glowed green, a cross-age event was born. The first paradoxical Pokemon that appeared in this world has been subdued. The Conqueror. Luo family. Luo Ling. Chapter 72. Do you want to shoot Dad to death on the beach? Luo Ling excitedly picked up the Pokeball on the ground, and then couldn't wait to release the Rumbling Moon in the Pokeball again. This is not superfluous, but after officially entering the Pokeball, with this sense of ritual, Rumbling Moon officially became Luo Ling's Pokemon. Bump. A red light is released from the middle of the opening and closing Pokeball, forming a perfect arc. In the next second, Rumbling Moon reappeared in front of his eyes. Roaring Moon, welcome to join. I will accompany you, step by step, to reach the top of the world. Roaring Moon accepted Luo Ling wholeheartedly as his trainer. As for the three little ones, according to their seniority, they naturally became her senior sisters. It's just that as the youngest sister, her rank is higher than that of the older sisters, and her individual strength is currently the strongest, which seems a bit weird. Are you sure it's not a joke? Axu. Proposal. Do. The three little ones jumped up and down in place, making joyful noises, and everyone happily welcomed the arrival of the new sisters together. Although I was still fighting with fans for a second, once I become a sister, I will finally let go of the previous happy grievances. Luo Ling gently stroked Rumbling Moon's forehead, and the other party readily accepted it. If other people know that this unique Roaring Moon in the world is owned by Luo Ling, it will probably cause quite a stir. Quote. At this moment, Growl suddenly let out a grievance howl, and his whole body lay on the ground, looking weak. Even his eyes are half opened in contest condition, silently looking at Luo Ling. After all, the opponent has just been subdued, and the tacit understanding between the two parties is not very sufficient. Moreover, the understanding of Rumbling Moon in this era is almost zero. Luo Ling didn't know what Roaring Moon wanted to express, so he tried to drive the power of Yulong to see if he could enter the mood of Roaring Moon. A shallow light gradually covered Luo Ling and touched the head and even the whole body of Rumbling Moon. After a long while, Rumbling Moon stopped. Oh, are you hungry? It's okay, take care of yourself. After all, he had a long tug of war with the three little ones just now, and also used so many moves with such a wide range of damage. Another backlash effect that destroys death, and was paralyzed once before. It is indeed not easy to be able to survive until now. Luo Ling quickly took out 3 energy cubes from the bag, took them to the mouth of the roaring target one by one and fed them to him. At the same time, don't forget that the 3 little ones who fought hard just now gave them a piece of energy cube respectively. Seeing the friends eating with gusto, unconsciously, Luo Ling's stomach started to protest. Proposal. Mom pays. No pay. Axu. The 3 little ones laughed unceremoniously. Rang Mingyu didn't know what happened at first, but seeing her sisters laughing, she tried to laugh along with her. The whole scene can be described as relaxed and cheerful, full of laughter. This is also the most relaxed and cheerful time since Rumbling Moon left her homeland and appeared in the Holy Land. I have been in astonished panic and helpless contest condition before. Now, with trainer and so many strong partners, I feel a lot of peace in my heart instantly. Waiting for everyone to resupply, seeing that it was still early, Luo Ling said to the 4 Pokemon, everyone, let's continue to walk around the Holy Land for 2 more laps before going back. Roaring Moon, you are too big to be a target. Besides, you are already very tired, so go back to the Pokeball to rest. After speaking, Luo Ling raised his mind ball and pointed it at Rumbling Moon. I saw a flash of red light, and it roared and was absorbed by the Pokeball. As for the 3 little ones, although they fought a tug of war for a long time before, it was 3 against 1 after all, and their physical strength was not exhausted as fast as expected. Besides, coming to the Holy Land this time was originally a practice for the 3 of them. Now the ultimate goal has been achieved. Just use these 3 little ones to fight more with other Pokemon to gain more rich and valuable experience. As for Luo Ling, it is naturally impossible to forget the sheep. There are a large number of rare tree fruits in the Holy Land, even if these are brought to the family, they are not common types. Wouldn't it be a pity to take this trip if I didn't bring some more back home? In addition to the fruit, the closer to the central part of the Holy Land, the more rare treasures you can see. Currently, Luo Ling is at the center of the Holy Land. This area is more dangerous, but at the same time opportunities coexist. With the Roaring Moon, Luo Ling dared to continue exploring in this circle. If you are in danger, if you really can't do it, you can also release Rumbling Moon. At least in the entire central circle, Rumbling Moon can definitely walk sideways. It's a pity that because of the battle just now, the entire area around the current area was almost destroyed. Even the vegetation has been uprooted. It's almost impossible to meet some other powerful Pokemon here. Simply, you can only follow the direction of going back and continue to move forward without leaving the central circle. Along the way, Luo Ling collected a lot of rare tree fruits, which can be said to be quite fruitful. Because there is no pressure of fighting, and no sense of urgency to find the Roaring Moon, Luo Ling seems very leisurely. It didn't take long for the berries to fill the entire backpack. Today is really a harvest season. Looking at the already stuffed backpack, Luo Ling was filled with a sense of accomplishment. This trip to the Holy Land was not in vain. Not only successfully regained the unique rumbling moon in the world, but also got so many rare exotic fruits. These rare exotic fruits can not only breed Pokémon, but also have a very powerful effect of eating alone. Even if you don't use it yourself, if you use it as a bargaining chip to exchange things with others, it's very classy. Luo Ling is not a person who does not know how to be satisfied. I am very happy to have such an opportunity today. Seeing that the sun has gradually set, and the sunset is gradually appearing in the sky, it reminds the adventurers that it is getting late. There are many changes in the Holy Land, and many changes will occur all the time. Therefore, it is best not to spend the night here. Whoosh! Just when Luo Ling was about to walk back with the three little ones, there was a sudden rustling sound from the grass not far from the side. Luo Ling frowned slightly, and cautiously approached the haystack in front of him. It wasn't until the distance between the two sides was very close that it was actually a black and purple salazzle with its back facing him, digging a hole in the ground, as if it was hiding something. Quote exclamation mark quote. Suddenly, Salazzle felt someone behind him. He turned around and jumped back, making a warning sound to Luo Ling. At this moment, Luo Ling seemed to see a bone hidden under Salazzle's body. Luo Ling didn't understand, this bone looked ordinary and there was nothing special about it. Why would Salazzle want to hide it? However, he checked Salazzle's information through the data eye. Open black lens bracket Salazzle. Poison fire close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level 39 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Naughty close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Corrosion easier to poison and steal Pokémon. Close black lens bracket. Individual values. HP 24, physical attack 24, special attack 29, physical defense 27, special defense 26, speed 31. Open black lens bracket skills. Fire Lash, Swagger, Poison Gas, Ember, Poison Fang, Incinerate, Venoshock, Professional Bomb, Poison Tail, Close black lens bracket. Qualification. Gym level. Compared with the first Pokémon Leavanny, which is also formed by the center circle, this Salazzle is relatively not so amazing. After all, how can one be surprised by a small scene after a big one? It just made Luo Ling very curious, what is so special about the bones guarded by the other party? Open black lens bracket hidden hint. What Salazzle wants to hide is Dragon Skull, close black lens bracket. Man, this is really surprising. It turned out to be Dragon Skull. This is an important Dragon Pokémon breeder item that is even rarer than Dragon Fang or Dragon Scale. Didn't expect to meet you here. It really deserves to be one of the secret realms of the four great sacred lands of the Dragon Kingdom. Dongwang's secret realm is indeed as rumored, danger and opportunity coexist. No wonder every family would try their best to send their clansmen here. Ahem. Student Salazzle, there's no need to hide, I've seen it all. While talking, Luo Ling has already approached Salazzle. Even the three little ones smirked along with Luo Ling. The latter sensed a sense of danger, and kept warning Luo Ling and San Shaoji, but it didn't seem to have any effect. Salazzle defended Dragon Skull tightly. But relying on it alone, how could it be Luo Ling's rival? Hiss, hiss, hiss. Suddenly, several continuous low warning sounds were heard around. Apparently, a Salazzle can't possibly make that much noise. In the next second, many eyes of Cal appeared from the surrounding grass, and a large number of Salandit surrounded them one after another. There are so many that people's scalp tingles after seeing it. Tooth. Where did Fracture see such a scene? Immediately made a fighting stance. Dragonair and Duolong Messia will be a little calmer, waiting for Luo Ling's instructions. Guys, we seem to be in trouble. Know what to do. 0. Asking for flowers. The three little ones replied in the affirmative at the same time. Luo Ling checked the Salandit that appeared with the Eye of Data, and found that their levels were basically hovering around 37 or 38. The lowest level is also 36. It seems that the Pokémon in the central circle of Dongwang Holy Land should not be underestimated. The overall strength is indeed a higher level. Salandit this kind of experience, only females can evolve into Salazzle. And they are often very obedient to Salazzle's instructions, basically appearing in groups of many male salamanders and a female Salazzle. Dragonair, you are responsible for holding Salazzle and grabbing Dragon Skull. Fracture and Xiaoduolong, defeat all these Night Thief salamanders. With an order, the little ones acted at the same time. Everyone showed their own skills. Iron Head, Dragon Tail, and Dragon Rush appeared one by one. Even though these Salandit are indeed stronger, they still have nowhere to parry against Fracture and Doran Messia whose levels are over 40. It didn't take long for the Salandit that appeared in large numbers to be beaten to the brink of death, with circles in their eyes. As for Salazzle, in front of the level 45 Dragonair, it is not rival at all. After only playing back and forth for 4 or 5 rounds, I was already exhausted. Dragonair. The goal of the battle is not to destroy Salazzle, but the Dragon Skull behind it. Taking advantage of Salazzle's exhaustion, he quickly captured the Dragon Skull and sent it to Luo Ling. Seeing that the younger brothers around him have been defeated one after another, and the Dragon Skull of last resort has also been snatched, Salazzle can be said to be scolding constantly. Place. Hiss. N. Looking at Salazzle Rage's expression, he continued to let out a deep roar. If you translate what it said, I'm afraid it contains too many aspects of parents, and it won't pass the trial. All right, stop scolding. I know, this Dragon Skull is not yours. You should have stolen it, right? Luo Ling showed a villainous smile. Under Salazzle's scolding, he quickly left the Holy Land with the three little ones. The guard of the eastern gate of Dongwang Holy Land. When the captain of the guard saw Luo Ling coming out of the secret realm, he arranged for someone to send him back to Luo's house. Luo Ling was very satisfied and said, "Very good, I understand this worldly way, I will add chicken legs to you. Son, how did you gain from going to the Holy Land this time? Are you injured? Shall we rush you to the hospital?" As soon as they returned to Luo's house, Luo Hongji and Xu Yan hurriedly embraced each other. Especially Xu Yan, who was afraid that her son would encounter some danger. "Don't worry, this time it's really rewarding. Let's go to the backyard first, it's inconvenient here." In this way, a family of three came to the backyard. Under the watchful eyes of his parents, Luo Ling first released all three cubs, and then pretended to be mysterious and said to his old father Salamence, "In the future, you will have a strong promotion." Bump. With the Pokeball across the perfect range and soaring in the sky. A Pokemon that looks similar to Salamence but has obvious differences appears in front of everyone and all Pokemon. Let me introduce to you, this Pokemon is called Roaring Moon. When they saw the new form of Salamence, which was exactly the same as in the picture, Luo Hongji and Xu Yan looked at each other dumbfounded and were very surprised. "Roaring Moon, they are my parents, and they will be your family in the future. And this Salamence, it is also your senior, say hello to everyone." Boom. After Rumbling Moon was subdued, her character became much more docile. When facing a brand new family member, he also accepted it calmly. Especially at the moment when I saw Salamence, when I met someone similar in appearance and shape to myself, I suddenly felt very cordial. Rumbling Moon and Salamence are the same kind of Pokemon on different timelines that have been changed, so when the two of them meet, the sense of intimacy from the blood suddenly explodes. The two Pokemon keep testing each other. From the original cautiousness, I gradually let go of my guard. Luo Ling nodded in satisfaction after seeing the whole process. But as parents, Luo Hongji and Xu Yan couldn't calm down for a long time. This is a brand new form of Salamence that has never been discovered before, and it was subdued by his son like this. Is it a bit too Solician? How can our son always surprise people? Luo Hongji couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Unexpectedly, it is true that green out of blue is better than blue. If this situation continues, I am afraid that within a few years, he, the father, will be directly shot to death on the beach. Xu Yan didn't care about these things, she just looked at the boom and started to feel a little worried. This brand new species has not yet been understood by humans. Roaring Moon's personality, habits, etc. Chapter 73 The top university in the country, Kunlun University. Salamence was obviously at a loss in the face of the distant relative of the Roaring Moon. That kind of familiar blood, but with a different appearance, made it hesitate for a while. On the other hand, Roaring Moon showed an inexplicable intimacy. It was as if he had found a relative, normal, who had a friendly attitude towards Salamence, and approached him actively to seek communication. Perhaps because they paid too much attention to the Rumbling Moon, Luo Hongji and Xu Yan didn't even notice that Luo Ling's Dratini had evolved into Dragonair. In addition to Rumbling Moon, Dratini evolved. Luo Ling's reminder made the husband and wife react. Indeed, Dragonair is slightly larger than Dratini and has a more radiant complexion. It seems that this trip to Dongwang Holy Land has indeed yielded a lot. Father Luo Hongji nodded in satisfaction. Dratini can eventually evolve into a quasi-god level Pokemon like Dragonite, but it is often very difficult for this Pokemon breeder to evolve, and it takes more effort to evolve. Now, as Luo Ling's first Pokemon, it is indeed a happy thing that Dratini has finally evolved into Dragonair. This also means that Luo Ling is one step closer to owning his first quasi-god Pokemon. Congratulations to your son. As a successful breeder, you let Dratini evolve into a Dragonair. Just tell me what you want, and I will treat it as a reward for you. Luo Hongji was also refreshing. Anyway, he is just such a son, even if there is no such thing as evolution, as long as Luo Ling asks, he will naturally try his best to satisfy him. Now it's just for fun. Luo Ling is not in a hurry, he still has more things to show. Wow. The moment the backpack was shaken, a large number of rare berries came out and scattered all over the ground. Rosalie berry, Haban berry, Yashe berry, Pattaya berry, etc., appeared in front of the 353, one after another. These are all high-quality berries, even for a big family like the Luo family, it is not easy to get them. These are the fruits I picked as much as I could. I only need 1/3 for myself, and I can use the rest for my family. This time, Luo Ling got a lot of fruit. Naturally, I can't use it up by myself, and the rest will be kept at home, whether it is used as a reserve or used by other people in the family. Luo Ling is willing to share. After all, Luo Hongji will be close to him if there is anything good in the family, and it is time to bring some help to the family. These extremely rare tree fruits can be sold for a lot of money in the market if one is taken out casually, and they will be snatched away immediately. It is the kind that has a price but no market. Luo Hongji was very moved. If he wanted to collect so many kinds of rare tree fruits in a short period of time, even the Luo family would not be able to pull them out. These are all the trophies that Luo Ling went to Dongwang Holy Land alone. Let him only take part of it, and keep the rest at home, which moved the old father badly. My son has grown up. Sensible. This was Luo Hongji's first emotion. However, among the many fallen berries, he suddenly found a strange bone that also fell along with it. What is this? Luo Hongji frowned slightly, looking at the bone in front of him, but felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Dragon Skull. On this bone, Luo Hongji discovered the remnants of the energy aura exclusive to the dragon-type Pokémon. Although this breath is extremely weak, it cannot pass through his eyes after all. This bone. You also got it in the Holy Land. Luo Hongji asked Luo Ling very excitedly. Snatched from a Salazzle, of course. This is another thing I am going to tell you besides the fruit. I'm going to keep this dragon skull for myself, but it may need to be paired with other things, so. Having said that, Luo Ling looked at Luo Hongji very consciously. Obviously, dragon skull is one of the rarest materials for breeder dragon Pokémon, and other items matched with it must also be the materials needed for dragon breeder. These things, Ba Ran needs the family to provide. In the last second, I brought back some berries, and in the next second, I will continue to get things home. It seems that this thing really complements each other. However, who let him be his son? Take whatever you want. If you don't give it to you, how can you give it to the little bastards outside? At this moment, Luo Hongji became extremely arrogant. To sum up, Luo Ling came back from Dongwang Holy Land this time, and gained more than a little bit. Alarmed Ratini evolved, successfully regained the Rumbling Moon, got a lot of rare fruit, and even got a dragon skull. Just take it out and count it alone, this secret pass is worth it. And Luo Ling didn't forget the promise he had made to Rumbling Moon. Rumbling Moon wants to become stronger, hoping to get training from Luo Ling. Simply, under coercion and temptation, he called out his old father's Flash Salamence. Wait for the two of you to fight, you have to pay attention to Drew. My dad's Salamence is stronger than the three little ones you fought with before. Boom. Roaring Moon roared, out of the spirit of fighting among dragon Pokémon, it couldn't wait to fight at this moment. After reminding the Roaring Moon, Luo Ling still didn't forget to say to Salamence, he can beat three little ones, this time you have to pay attention to Drew a little bit, be careful not to be blown up. Boom. The old father's Salamence issued a confident growl, as if telling Luo Ling, no matter how powerful the Roaring Moon is he as powerful as himself. For a moment, the will to fight as a dragon Pokémon was triggered. The battle is about to start. Roaring Moon, strike first. Dash and use Vicious Bite, don't let Salamence fly. In terms of speed alone, Roaring Moon is much faster than Salamence, and has a very big advantage as a starter. Soon, Rumbling Moon rushed in front of Salamence. The latter wanted to rush to Sky, but was grabbed by the ankle and bitten by the wings. Salamence had fought with Luo Ling's Pokémon so many times, but this was the first time he had suffered such damage. He immediately understood that Rumbling Moon's strength was extraordinary. Compared with the three little ones I faced before, there is indeed a big difference. Quote exclamation mark quote. Salamence roared, resisted the pain and waved his wings to disperse the Roaring Moon, then looked at Luo Ling again. I told you a long time ago, don't underestimate Rumbling Moon this time. Believe it now. The corners of Luo Ling's mouth turned up slightly, and he once again ordered Rumbling Moon to continue attacking Salamence. Only this time, it's not the evil bite, but the flamethrower. Salamence also responded with the same move, opened his mouth, and released it at Flying's Roaring Moon, whose height was lower than his own. Two Pokémon, one high and the other low, used the same moves to bombard each other. The intense heat flames continuously spread to the surroundings along with the impact wave, and the surrounding temperature gradually rose, to the point that Luo Ling needed to step back a little to feel better. In fact, from the perspective of attack, the Roaring Moon has a special attack disadvantage. Luo Ling just wanted to use the flamethrower move to test it out, but Salamence didn't expect to dodge at all. When the two Pokémon confronted each other in the air, Rumbling Moon gradually lost the advantage of being the first to act. It is not difficult to see that the flames of the flamethrower cast by Salamence are stronger. While stopping the attack, dodge to the left. Luo Ling gave the order, but it seemed a bit late. The power of Salamence's flamethrower continued to increase, but it swallowed the flames of Rumbling Moon and successfully hit the opponent. Whoosh. After the flames dissipated, Rumbling Moon was hit by a large number of flamethrowers, causing many burns on his body. The flying contest condition could not continue, and he could only slowly fall back to the ground. From the level of arrogance just now, it can be seen that Salamence is really serious this time. He may have felt a little threat from Salamence's strength, so he pointed out a lot of strengths that he had never shown in front of the three little ones. Luo Ling and the three little ones who were watching the battle hurried to Rumbling Moon to check the situation. Fortunately, it's just a burn, it's not a big problem. Luo Ling quickly took out the spray-type anti-burn potion and applied it to many burn wounds. Boom. Roaring Moon let out a sound of self-blame and disappointment. Luo Ling comforted with a smile. Don't be discouraged, it's normal that you can't beat Salamence, he is my father's Pokémon. You can ask Dragonair, the three of them are not even Salamence's rival. It was under Salamence's training that the three of them became stronger and stronger. While talking, Luo Ling also looked at the three little ones. Proposal, proposal, Dulu, Dulu, Axu, Axu. The three little ones responded positively, just wanting to tell Rumbling You how strong Luo Hongji's Salamence is. This can also make the Roaring Moon feel better and not feel so lost. The people of Salamence have come before it. Boom. This sound is more like encouragement. It was Salamence who told Rumbling Moon again that he should not be in such a hurry to improve his strength, because not one battle can explain everything. Moreover, Salamence's strength can beat most Pokémon in this world. The rumbling moon is formidable, but in front of it, it is naturally inferior. With the encouragement of many parties, Roar seemed to understand all this. It's no wonder that the three little ones are so powerful. It turns out that there are seniors like Salamence who are constantly coaching them and making them stronger in battle. There is also Luo Ling, who has been letting the three little ones challenge Pokémon stronger than themselves, so that they can get more exercise. It's getting late, let's rest today. I have to go back to school tomorrow. Yes, although the National High School League has ended, this competition, which is like the normal college entrance examination, has become a key way to select talents in many colleges and universities across the country. But after all, in order to unify the enrollment, the admission situation among the major colleges and universities should not be known until after returning to school. The next day, Luo Ling came to the school again and immediately became the focus of the whole school. After all, winning the championship in the National High School League is not only the achievement of Luo Ling alone, but also the pride of the whole school. Looking at the words, Kunlun University, written on my admission notice, Luo Ling immediately recalled the information about this school, which is the top Pokémon school in the country, not one of them. This school has assembled the best Pokémon education resources in the country, and the achievements it has made, even if you look at the whole world, can be regarded as the existence of the name. It is enough to see how strong the comprehensive strength of Kunlun University itself is. Luo Ling has won the championship in the National High School League, so he will naturally receive an admission letter from such a good university. Great, we are the same school. Suddenly, Ling Shui appeared beside Luo Ling. She glanced at Luo Ling's admission notice, and both of them were admitted by Kunlun University at the same time. When you arrive at Kunlun University, which department are you going to choose? Under Kunlun University, there are many Pokémon-related majors. Among them, the most familiar ones are Trainer Department, Breeder Department, Medical Department, Food Department and so on. But no matter which major it is, as long as it can successfully complete its studies at Kunlun University, it can get a very high degree of recognition in the society. Luo Ling naturally chose the trainer system. Receiving such an answer, Ling Shui showed a smile on her face. Then we can go to school together again. In the future, please give me more advice. Luo Ling smiled and shook hands with each other. Ling Shui can get the third place in the National High School League, so she does have a very good talent in fighting. Compared with Luo Ling, it is indeed worse, but it has surpassed most of the same age in the country. Since we are still classmates in the future, don't forget me when you arrive at school. After Ling Shui finished speaking, she left first. After all, Kunlun University is located in the remote Kunlun Mountains, where outstanding people are very suitable for Pokémon to live. As the best Pokémon University location in the country, it is naturally the best. Ling Shui is a Stephanie's son. If she wants to study in such a far place from Hangzhou, she must have a lot of things to prepare. After returning home, Tu Lingbian told his parents that he was admitted to Kunlun University. When Shu Yan saw the admission notice, Shu Yan was overjoyed, but Luo Hongji thought it was normal. My son is so good that he won the championship in Shanghai National Competition. 4.5. So why does Kunlun University not admit Luo Ling? If they are not accepted, that is their loss. It's still a while before you go to Kunlun University to register. What are your plans for the future? Luo Hongji asked. Of course I will continue to borrow Salamence, and when I get to school, there will be fewer opportunities like this. Kunlun University certainly has a lot of teaching resources. However, as a huge family in the Dragon Kingdom, the Luo family naturally has a lot of resources to give. Take Salamence as an example. This is equivalent to a top one-on-one personal trainer in the country, and there is no charge, and it is available 24 hours a day. May I ask, can Kunlun University provide such private education? Even if it is possible, can you be on call 24 hours a day? Which is more important? Luo Ling can naturally understand. Taking advantage of these days before reporting to Kunlun University, quickly ask Salamence to treat the 4 little ones, no, the 3 little ones and the big one. If I go to Kunlun University to study in the future, there will not be many opportunities like this. Moreover, Luo Ling heard that due to the special geographical location of the Kunlun Mountains where Kunlun University is located, the wild Pokémon are relatively stronger, and there may even be quasi-elite and elite level existence. Also more likely to encounter flash or special Pokémon. Luo Ling naturally wants to seize this opportunity to make his Pokémon as strong as possible, so that he can have more confidence when facing wild Pokémon. After 1 month, Kunlun University officially opened. Luo Ling took off from Hangzhou, and finally landed at Kunlun Airport after several hours of flight. Students of Kunlun University, please pay attention. Freshmen come to me to report, and the seniors will take you to school. Just after getting off the plane and before exiting the airport, you can see someone holding a huge Kunlun University freshman signboard at the exit, to prevent freshmen from getting lost. Chapter 74. The entrance test for freshmen is all big shots in the industry. Luo Ling carried the suitcase and found the seniors at the freshman reception. You are the freshman this year, go to the temporary reception at the back and wait for a while. After this wave of people is almost there, senior will take you to school. Following the direction of the other party's finger, he did see a temporary reception desk set up by the school not far ahead. There are already some students waiting there, and they will be taken to the school when the number of each wave is about the same. Do you feel that the freshman just now looks familiar? After Luo Ling went to the reception, the senior who was holding a new student guidance sign at the exit frowned slightly. I feel that the student in front of me looks familiar, but I can't remember it for a while. It's your illusion. She is a cute elementary school boy, not a school girl. Don't teach your juniors bad things about cats and dogs. The female student on the side gave a blank stare. Top universities like Kunlun University have never been short of students. After a short wait at the temporary reception, the chairs at the reception are almost full. At this moment, a white-haired man in half-casual and half-formal clothes appeared in front of all the freshmen. Hi, freshmen of Kunlun University, I am the freshman receptionist sent by the school. Now the number is almost enough, everyone come with me, and I will lead everyone to school. The white-haired man speaks in a straight voice, at a moderate speed, with a serious face, trying his best to let everyone hear what he said, giving people a very serious impression, but also making people feel that he is a reliable person. All the freshmen followed behind the white-haired man, crossed the outer avenue of Kunlun Airport, and came to a mountainside on the west side of the airport. Kunlun City was originally found in the mountains. The terrain here is complex and there is almost no plain terrain, so even the airport itself is located in a huge mountain. The open space on the mountainside is an area specially prepared by the airport for Kunlun University. When they first came here, the scene in front of them stunned all the freshmen. I saw the Charizard army waiting here neatly row after row. These are the flying riding Pokémon specially used by the school to pick up and drop off freshmen. Even if you are an insider, after watching it, you will call it a good guy. Usangia is used to receive new students. O3 Although Charizard is not a rare Pokémon, for Lin it is a Charizard trained by Kunlun University, and its strength is not bad. And being able to take out so much at one time is by no means easy. Even Luo Ling felt a little shocked after seeing such a scene. At first glance, there are at least 100 Charizard waiting to take off, and they should have signed a contract with the wild group. Everyone, please ride Charizard in order, and Charizard will take everyone to school. While talking, students have been riding Charizard one after another. After confirming that everyone had gone up, the white-haired man took another eruption, and under his leadership, a freshman took off at the same time. Boom! The sound of air vibration passed by the ears, and the strong shock made many people unable to bear to close their eyes. Waiting for the flow of the surrounding air to gradually become stable, everyone is already flying freely in the air. Luo Ling was particularly calm among the freshmen. And he also found that these Charizards seemed to have undergone special training, and they seem to be closer to humans than ordinary Charizard. This should be done deliberately by Kunlun University. Kunlun University is located in the west of Kunlun City, in the mountains of the mountains. The ground occupies a huge area. According to different major categories, it is divided into more than 10 different colleges. The teaching resources are abundant. Under the circumstance that less than 1,000 top students in the country are recruited every year, it is guaranteed that each student can be allocated enough educational resources. This is one of the reasons why this school can become a top institution. The Charizard army stayed outside the number 2 training hall of the school, in the open space of Yinjiang. After the students get off Charizard, they immediately enter the main teaching building to register here and get their student cards. This student card has many uses, not only as an access control card for the dormitory, but also as a meal card and storage of student information and other basic needs. But all the equipment and expenses in the school can be used through this card. After the registration was over, Luo Ling came to his dormitory. 16 Pinewood Court. What caught my eye were all detached villas, and only one student lived in each villa. In this way, students and Pokémon can have enough space for activities as much as possible, but if the Pokémon is extremely large, they can only move around in the yard outside the villa. Luo Ling has seen an arrogant school, but never seen such an arrogant one. It really deserves to be Kunlun University, it is so inhumane. By the way, hurry up and call home. Luo Ling suddenly remembered what his parents told him before boarding the plane. Especially the mother, the moment she sent her son to the plane, she couldn't help crying. He kept yelling in the direction of Luo Ling, remember to call back when you get to school, don't worry us. This situation is not so obvious in Luo Hongji's body. Beep. As soon as the ringtone was remembered for a second, the video call was connected. Are you at school yet? How is the school environment? It may be a little worse than at home. You are used to it. If you have any problems, tell your parents. Xu Yan was extremely excited. He saw Luo Ling had appeared in the house through the screen. Sure enough, even the single-family villa of Kunlun University is the same in the eyes of the Luo family. Later, while holding the mobile phone to reverse the camera, Luo Ling introduced to his parents the detached villa he lived in and the basic situation of the school he knew so far. In this way, it can be regarded as a decent piece. The school dormitory will only provide some basic facilities, and students can only prepare their own personal items. Looking at the dormitory is still brand new, without any traces of life, Luo Ling needs to add some personal items to make the dormitory look more cozy. Fortunately, the school is located far away from Kunlun City, but the distribution facilities around the school are all available. There are 3 little ones and 1 big one who will live in this room in the future, and need to buy some supplies for them. After all these are done, it's not too late, it's time to find Ling Shui. The dormitory is a group area, which is divided and managed according to the different majors and genders of students. Ling Shui is also a trainer, and the dormitory is not far from Luo Ling, so she found it quickly. Ling Shui arrived 2 days earlier than Luo Ling, and was already familiar with the school a lot. The moment she saw Luo Ling, she immediately dragged him to the number 3 cafeteria. I have eaten in all the canteens in the school, and the one here is the best. Luo Ling responded, and let the three little ones out, just about to let the rumbling moon out, but suddenly thought about it and let it go. Not to mention the size problem, the unique appearance alone looks even more brutal than Salamence, which may scare many people. The three little ones sat next to Luo Ling and Ling Shui, eating the flavored bread specially prepared for Pokémon in the cafeteria. All of them were happy. Today is the last day for freshmen to register. Tomorrow, the ability of freshmen will be tested. Are you ready? Luo Ling nodded. He had already heard about the rules of Kunlun University before coming here. After the freshman admission report every year, the basic ability of the freshmen will be tested. Every department is different. As a trainer system, the most important thing is that the main content of the battle test is also the same. The freshman test of the trainer department is divided into 3 different items. The first project is the Pokémon ability test, which tests the basic information such as the breeder situation of the Pokémon of the trainer before entering school, as well as the qualification level of the Pokémon itself. The second item is the actual combat test. The school will arrange examiners to test the combat ability of the new students, and the level of the battle Pokémon arranged will be changed according to the actual level of Pokémon used by different candidates, and there will not be much difference. The last one is the field survival test. The school will arrange for freshmen to go to the Kunlun Secret Realm for a 3-day field survival training. In this field survival training, the students need to go to the designated place in the secret place to get the badge arranged by the school in advance, and then just bring the badge to arrive smoothly. When it's time for survival training in the wild, let's form a team together. Then I'll wait for you outside the Kunlun Secret Realm. Luo Ling responded. Ling Shui looked at the 3 little ones who were eating flavored bread. She suddenly found that Dratini seemed to be a little different from Mikey, the appearance was different from what she saw before, and she had evolved into a Dragonair. Congratulations, I didn't expect to see you for a month, but Dratini has evolved. This time, we are one step closer to Dragonite. Ling Shui stroked Dragonair lightly, even so, she didn't disturb it to eat the flavored bread. Looking at this little guy in front of me, I like it very much. Each of the Dragonite family is a lovable master. The next day, early morning. Today, the entire Kunlun University will usher in the annual freshman test, and the scene can be described as extremely lively. Not only the teachers of the school are very concerned about this matter, even the seniors want to join in the fun. Different majors will be held in their respective colleges. As the most popular major, the trainer department naturally has the most factors. When everyone gathered together, Luo Ling was quickly recognized by someone on the scene. Look, it's the National League champion. Is that Luo Ling who singled out 2 fairy-type Pokémon with fracture? I didn't expect the real person to be more photogenic than the TV. His Pokémon level should not be low. Nonsense, the Luo family will definitely use all their resources to help him breed her Pokémon. There were chattering voices all around. As the champion of the National League a month ago, Luo Ling has carried a good aura since he came out. For today's test, almost no one questioned whether he failed or failed, and everyone even thought that he must be one of the few people who could beat the examiner. After all, the Pokémon from Kunlun University breeder and the teaching examiners are all outstanding in society. Even when fighting with the examiner, the Pokémon level is similar, but the result of the battle is affected by many factors, and it is not a simple accumulation of levels to win. Therefore, since Kunlun University had a freshman test, the vast majority of students who entered the university failed to beat the examiner. Of course, this does not mean that the test is not passed. The purpose of the test is not to screen students, but to see what level the students are currently at, so that more education can be given. This is also the reason why the examiner will never release water during the battle. All the students gathered together and moved forward slowly in a random line. At the forefront of the team, freshmen need to release Pokémon to be inspected by professionals. In the middle of the hall, the students suddenly became agitated. Luo Ling too. Looking at it before, I found that several figures in suits appeared next to the detection equipment. And these people are all the kings of the Pokémon world. Kai Shi, a well-known Pokémon coordinator and appraiser. Peng Bin is known as one of the most powerful breeders in Dragon Kingdom. Zhu Miaomiao, the author of many articles in the famous Pokémon science magazine, The Lancet. Luo Ling had heard his father mention these people before. Unexpectedly, it was just an entrance test that attracted so many top people in the Dragon Kingdom Pokémon world. It seems that this Kunlun Academy really deserves its reputation. After the simple process was described, the test of Pokémon began. In the center of the venue, a girl put her Kami turtle on the testing instrument. After a while of scanning, several teachers or scholars in white coats checked the Kami turtle's whole body, just like treating a normal patient. Student, let your Kami tortoise simply release a few skills, mainly to watch 807 see how the Kami tortoise behaves when releasing skills. The girl nodded, and asked Kami to release some less powerful moves such as water gun and tackle. At this point, a set of inspections is over. Student, your Wartortle breeders is fine. If he can maintain his defensive ability and increase his speed on this basis, he will be able to reach the elite level in the future. There is at least an S level. As soon as these words came out, the girl was overjoyed. I didn't expect to be able to get directions from breeder just for inspection, which can be described as a pleasant surprise. This time, the school's Pokémon ratings for freshmen are divided into 1 SSSSS, SABCDE from strong to low. Kunlun University has high requirements for Pokémon ratings, but for students who can be successfully admitted to Kunlun University, the Pokémon rating will at least not be lower than B level. Luo Ling also checked his Pokémon information. Open black lens bracket Dragonair. Dragon close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level. 45 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Brave close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Magic scale when in status condition, the defense will be increased. Close black lens bracket. Individual values. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31. Open black lens bracket skills. Dragon Rush, Agility, Dragon Dance, Dragon Tail, Water Pulse, Thunder Wave, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Master level close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Dragon Messiah. Dragon Ghost Flash close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level. 43 close black lens bracket. Character. Lot. Open black lens bracket ability. Penetration attacks are penetrating, can penetrate barriers or substitutes to attack. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Champion close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket fracture. Dragon Black Flash close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level. 41 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Stubborn close black lens bracket. First ability. Breakthrough with the determination to break the rules, you can ignore the opponent's ability when attacking. Second ability. Struggle when rival is the same gender as your own, the power of the move will increase by 25%. If the gender is different, the power will decrease by 25%. As long as one of the two parties is of different gender. Tomorrow, the power of moves remains unchanged. Close black lens bracket. Individual value. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31. Skills. Bite, Dragon Claw, Dig, Dragon Dance, Slash, Double Slash, Scary Face. Open black lens bracket qualification. Master level close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Roaring Moon. Dragon Evil close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket level. 50 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket character. Impatient close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ability. Ancient activity in sunny days, the ability will be improved. Close black lens bracket. Individual value. HP 31, physical attack 31, special attack 31, physical defense 31, special defense 31, speed 31, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket skills. Sunny Day, Breaking Swipe, Dragon Breath, Flamethrower, Bite, Dragon Claw, Fire Blast close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket qualification. Master level close black lens bracket chapter 75, The Roaring Moon shocks the audience. Full SS's rating. The Pokémon tests for freshmen have started one after another. Students lined up, hoping to get a good rating for their Pokémon. After all, who can be admitted to Kunlun University, which one is not the pride of heaven? Who is not a little arrogant? It's a pity that Rong and Yao Shuiyi were not assigned to the same team. Otherwise, Luo Ling would also like to see what the rating of Ling Shuiyi's Pokémon is. It's not too late to ask after it's over. Almost all students who are just entering the school stage hold 3 Pokémon in their hands. It's just that many of the proud children of various regions did not expect that the experience of breeder, under the high standard of Kunlun Academy, was not rated as high as expected. The final rating of most people's Pokémon is above B level, but A level occupies the vast majority. Among them, there are also S level Pokémon, but if you want to reach SS level, the number of rated Pokémon becomes more and more rare. By constantly checking other people's Pokémon attribute information, Luo Ling has basically mastered the Kunlun Academy's rating standards. Although the specific items are not clear, but by looking at today's qualifications, you can find the corresponding relationship. If the aptitude of Pokémon is champion level, then the final assessment is the SSS level. The quasi-champion level qualification corresponds to the SS level. And so on, continuously extending down. But among them, there are extremely individual exceptions, but they are absolutely the same. But the teachers who teach at Kunlun Academy are very clear. Now it is just the initial admission rating, and it is still the highest rating based on qualifications. As for whether breeder can reach the highest level in the end, it still depends on the hard work of the students after enrollment. Kunlun University, a top Pokémon institution, will naturally provide students with the best resources in the country. But as for the extent to which students can learn, it still depends on their own development. Soon, after several rounds of student tests, it was Luo Ling's turn. He released Fracture from the Pokeball, and Black Flash's ability was immediately revealed, which amazed everyone present. Flash Fracture. It immediately caught the attention of the testing teacher. It turned out to be the Grand Duke's son-in-law of the Luo family. This Fracture did really well in the National High School League, really impressive. After all, with his identity here, it was normal for Luo Ling to be recognized at a glance. There were not too many pleasantries, just silently nodding. Detection teacher immediately pushed Fracture into the instrument to scan. At the same time, Fracture's skeletal development is also displayed on the monitor next to it. After going through other tests, several teachers whispered for a while, showing affirmative eyes and nodding at the same time. Afterwards, after a while of discussion, Fracture was sent back to Luo Ling. Just as Luo Ling was about to let Fracture release some simple skills according to the testing process, he was suddenly stopped. Student Luo, there is no need to test the power of the moves. Our rating for Fracture is unanimously considered to be SSS level. As soon as this remark came out, it immediately attracted the attention of everyone on the scene. Although this is not the first SSS rating to appear in the audience, it is a rare minority after all, and it will naturally attract the attention of others. Shiny Pokémon. It's SSS class. As expected of the young master of the Luo family, teacher gave such a high evaluation without using skills. I have the impression that this Fracture has pierced through 2 fairy-type Pokémon in 1 hit and 2 hits in the National League. Boom. There was an uproar at the scene. Everyone whispered and all turned their attention to Luo Ling and Fracture. Even though the school's teacher is not a common SSS-rated Pokémon, after all, today is not Luo Ling's home game alone. There are so many new students waiting to be tested. The teacher who presided over the overall situation immediately stepped forward. Everyone be quiet, now is the Pokémon test, don't delay the students behind. If you have anything to say, wait until the test is over. In the next lesson, the students immediately fell silent. On the other hand, several bigwigs in the Pokémon world cast their eyes on Luo Ling one after another. They didn't speak, but just paid attention silently. Immediately afterwards, Luo Ling took out a second Pokeball, releasing Doran Messiah. After Xiao Duolong appeared, he blinked and looked at so many people present, and immediately hid behind Luo Ling. Boom. The scene exploded again. Another shiny Pokemon. And this time it's a godsend. This made all the teachers present not calm down. Although everyone knows that Luo Ling comes from the Luo family of the Dragon family, they did not expect that his Pokemon are getting rarer and rarer. But anyway, he is also a teacher of Kunlun University, so he can't look like the students who have never seen the big world. Don't be scared, it's just a test and you'll be fine soon. Luo Ling stroked the small transparent tail of Duolong Maya while comforting it. So far, Duolong Maya tentatively appeared in front of the teachers. Then, start checking. After a while of operation, the teachers also did not let Duolong Maya release his skills. Then he announced, Durong Messiah, the entrance rating is SSS. The teachers did not expect that the second consecutive Pokemon rating of the same person was also the highest level. Not to mention that the students have never seen it before, even the teacher at Kunlun University was very surprised. Student, I remember you seem to have a Dratini, right? The teacher who spoke has seen the video of the National High School League game and knows that Luo Ling has 3 Pokemon. Luo Ling nodded, first took back Duolong Maya, and then released Dragonair. Compared with the national competition more than a month ago, Dratini has evolved. This is not surprising. After all, he is a child of a family, and the breeder Pokemon is a little faster, which is normal. It's just that the moment the second quasi-god appeared, the students couldn't hold back their excitement. What's the situation? Why does he have 2 quasi-gods? Is it okay for a child of a family to act recklessly like this? I don't ask for an extra quasi-god. Isn't that a high requirement? I'm not that greedy, just give me an SSS-level Pokemon. You are thinking about farts, and you don't look at other people's identities, and your own identities. The scene that had already calmed down, the atmosphere immediately improved again. The teacher who is in charge of on-site order maintenance and management is also very helpless. It's not that he's not capable, it's that Luo Ling's Pokemon is too dazzling. Especially when Dragonair's final rating came out. SSS level. This time, even the teachers followed suit with exclamations. 3 Pokemon, all of the highest level. This kind of thing has never happened in Kunlun University. This time the teachers who participated in the rating have really seen the world. They never thought that, as a teacher at the top university in the country, one day they would be shocked by their students. If this gets out, what will happen to the teachers? What is the face of Kunlun University? It is also said that it is the top Pokemon school in the country, not even a student. The teacher in charge of the test was helpless. The teacher who maintained the order on the scene kept blinking at him, and the teacher who tested could only follow the procedure and wanted to let Luo Ling complete the first test quickly. Student, you probably don't have any other Pokemon. It's just such a casual question. Originally, it was just a procedural issue. After all, not every student has only 3 Pokemon when they first enter college, and there are exceptions. Unexpectedly, the teachers present were not calm when they saw Luo Ling was silent. If there are other Pokemon, all of them need to be taken out for testing. It's a school rule. Now that teacher has already said that, Lu is embarrassed. Teacher, my last Pokemon is a bit too big, and it's a little bit special. There are too many people around, I'm afraid. Although the building area where everyone is located is large, it is also full of teachers and students, almost covering most of the central area. If you want to release the Roaring Moon, there is really a problem. Teachers also immediately understood. After all, they were born in a dragon family, and most of the dragon Pokemon are relatively large, so it is understandable. Therefore, the teachers hurriedly directed the students on the scene to make an open space in the middle. In order to protect the safety of the students, security personnel also surrounded the middle. Come out, rumbling moon. Bump. With the sound of a Pokeball passing by, a huge Pokemon that looked like Salamence appeared in front of everyone. What is this? What Pokemon? Why have you never seen it before? A brand new Pokémon species. How come I've never seen salamence like this? The moment the students saw the roaring moon, they whispered among themselves and discussed a lot. Everyone was inexplicably afraid of this unprecedented experience before them, and they inevitably took several steps back. As for the on-site teachers and industry experts, they have never seen this form of salamence. Teacher Kai, have you ever seen salamence in this form? Peng Bin on the side stared at the roaring moon for a long time, but he still didn't recognize it. Kai Shi, as the top Pokémon appraiser in China, has never seen it before, so she can't help shaking her head. On the other hand, Zhu Miao Miao looked calmer. If you don't know, just ask directly, the answer will not come out by itself. As soon as the words fell, the doctor walked down from the stage. The teachers who tested the Luo Ling Pokémon were at a loss for what to do. They have never seen such a form of salamence, and they don't know how to make a judgment in order to be more professional and fair. Seeing Zhu Miao Miao and others coming down, the teachers rushed over to meet them. Professor Zhu, we have never seen such a situation, please help us identify it. Zhu Miao Miao, Kai Shi and Peng Bin came to Luo Ling. Student, how did you get this Pokémon? If I'm not wrong, this Pokémon should be the same as the new Pokémon photo that was released in Dongwang Holy Land some time ago. If you are an expert, you can recognize it at a glance. Luo Ling nodded, not intending to hide. That's right, I went to Dongwang Holy Land to capture this myself. As far as I know, it is the only one in the world. I named him Rumbling Moon. Roaring Moon. Peng Bin said, it is indeed a very domineering name. The three masters in the Pokémon world rotate left and right to observe the roaring moon, so that the latter. His eyes followed them all the time, turning around several times. There were also many students at the scene who hurriedly took out their mobile phones to take pictures or videos. Everyone is stunned with a brand new Pokémon species. Teacher Kai, what's your opinion? This roaring moon, what kind of rating do you give? Only Kai Shi was a professional business appraiser at the scene, and everyone would naturally take his opinion as the standard. Kai Shi was embarrassed. I have never been in contact with Pokémon in such a form, it is difficult to give a judgment. But judging from this Pokémon's contest condition, posture and momentum, I don't think it's too much to give it an SSS rank. What Kai Shi said is very pertinent, and the rating suggestions given are also convincing. The teacher in charge of the test also hurriedly announced the final rating of Roaring Moon, SSS. Now that the first test is all over, Luo Ling hastened to take back the eye-catching Rumbling Moon. It's just that Kai Shi, Peng Bin, and other big names in the Pokémon world haven't seen it yet. So slightly disappointed. But now that Luo Ling has successfully enrolled in Kunlun University, there are still many opportunities to meet in the future. If you want to understand the Roaring Moon, you can't stop at this moment. It may be due to the appearance of the Roaring Moon that the attention of everyone present was sucked away. It was not until Luo Ling left the test site that everyone discovered an important fact. Luo Ling has a total of 4 Pokémon, one is rarer than the other. All ratings are SSS. How do other freshmen live? Not to mention being a freshman, many of the seniors who were watching the excitement felt that Luo Ling was a pervert. To be able to cause such a big commotion at the prelude of just enrolling. From now on, he will definitely be the man of the school. Leaving the hall for the first test, a staff member came to Luo Ling. Student, you forgot your student card. Next, please go to the clubhouse for the second test, and a teacher will tell you the subsequent good money process. After expressing his gratitude, Luo Ling followed the direction guided by the staff and came to the venue of the second test. The second test, the actual battle for freshmen and examiners. When I first came here, I heard many students whispering. Have you heard, just now there is a freshman no. 4 Pokémon who are all $S class. And he also has a new form of salamence. I didn't expect the news to spread so quickly. The news had already spread outside the first guild hall just after leaving. It is said that the school is a small society, and it seems that even Kunlun University cannot avoid this rule. The 2 students just passed by Luo Ling's side, and saw the test registration office not far ahead. Luo Ling handed over his student card. The reception teacher confirmed that the information was correct and explained the rules of the second test. Students need to choose one of their own Pokémon to fight with the examiner. Students will be scored according to the battle situation. No matter whether the challenge is successful or not, it is not considered a failure. But in order to achieve higher scores, students are definitely expected to choose their current strongest combat power. Moreover, the challenge Pokémon sent by the examiner will ensure that the level of the Pokémon is not much different, but the attribute is random. Of course, there is no need to worry about selecting the restrained attribute. The difficulty of final scoring will be changed accordingly according to the restraint of attribute. This is also to ensure that the true strength of the students can be seen as much as possible. After the information registration is completed, the students can board the platform when they are ready. Luo Ling originally wanted to let Rumbling Moon play, after all, it can be regarded as his current strongest combat power, with a full level of 50. But recalling the series of sensations caused just now, I finally decided to keep a low profile first. This has just entered school, there is no elimination in this battle, there is no need to show all your strength at once. When Luo Ling stood on the battle stage, the examiner shouted majestically, Student, show your strongest combat power. Go all out to get the highest score possible.